Woof woof! Hey guys, it's me Marcus, aka the Maddogg, and we are live. We are back, yes, for your monthly installment of Maddogg Chats. And this one is a very special one. So firstly, I'm going to introduce my amazing co-host, who is pretty much the only reason that the MDC even exists, because of the fact that he's always reminding me like, Marcus, it's halfway through the month. You need to book this, else nobody's going to turn up for it. So of course, I'm always joined by my handsome and YouTube husband, Comic Bound. Thank you for joining me, mate.
Hello. Thanks for having me. How's it going?
It's always a pleasure to have you. And we've got a very special guest with us today. We've been trying to get this set up for months, but he is the hardest working guy in the YouTube game. He does daily content. He is one of, if not the fastest growing YouTube channels in the entire comic book YouTube scene and the entire history of the YouTube comic book scene. He's hardworking. He's got the smoothest voice in the game. It's none other than Mr. BJ Kicks. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, that was quite the introduction. I don't know if half of the things you said are true, but I appreciate them. Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate this.
It's cool. We get Adam to fact check halfway through because I say so much stuff that it's like we need somebody to make sure that he doesn't get us in any hot water. So yeah, right. Thank you for joining me. It's been long overdue as well. Like I said, I've been following your channel, and it's just been amazing the rate that you've been growing, the content that you've been putting out, and it's just phenomenal. So thank you for having the time to join us.
Yeah, no problem. And anytime I get to talk comics with people, it's fun because I'm usually just talking comics to a camera and hoping somebody cares after the fact. So
we don't talk comics here.
Yeah, wrong channel.
Yeah, sorry.
We just talk about me crying.
Yeah.
Oh, I just
stream.
Hold on, let me check my calendar real quick. I think I double booked. I'll see you guys.
But as you'll know, anything goes on the MDC. We're always just here to have a good time because it's Friday. We've already got some people in the stream, and for once I'm actually going to pay attention to the comments because I am useless at this normally. So Stephen's been waiting for this one to start. It's also been his birthday this week. I hope you've had a good one.
Happy birthday.
Speaking of birthdays, oh my bad. Happy birthday, Stephen, the shy warrior. How can you be shy and be a warrior? Is that a thing?
Stealth.
But yeah, happy birthday, dude. Speaking of birthdays, one of the guys in the K Squad, his name is Kev. He actually just sent me a pretty cool care package. I put it up in my last video. But yesterday was his birthday. So shout out to you, even if you're not watching. Now there are people elsewhere who know your name. So there you
Happy
go.
Birthday, Kev.
Happy birthday.
We've also got Zelos Irving, who says that they're looking forward to the streams. Can't wait for this one. We've been looking forward to it as well. It's definitely been one that a lot of hype's been building for in our own chat, like before it even started. So I'm glad that it's finally here. I'm glad it's finally Friday as well. As always, we've got Baharath, who's been a massive supporter of the channel. And I'm glad to have you as part of another MDC. I hope you enjoy this one. We've also got Cade, who does his own channel. How is everyone doing? That's a great question to start it off.
I'll let you go first, BJ or Mr. Kicks, however you. Which one?
BJ's fine. Yeah,
Okay,
BJ's
cool.
fine.
BJ.
I'll also accept Madder than Maddogg.
Okay.
That's one title that's difficult to get. Right. You can have it. You can have it.
But nah, things are going well, man. I can't complain. We just had our second baby. She was born early, so she's been in the hospital for a little while. And we're expecting her to be there for about another month. So life has definitely been kind of crazy. They're going back and forth to the hospital, and we're in the middle of a move. So yeah, after we get done with this stream, I'm dismantling all of this behind me. But other than all those transitional things happening, life is great. I'm wearing a Wu-Tang shirt, drinking an iced coffee, talking to some homies. So I can't complain.
That was actually also a great segue as well to a charity that we're raising money for, because we want to be able to give back as well. And obviously you've been able to put out, great content consistently whilst everything has been going on. So we've got a charity that we are raising money for on this Maddogg Comics. And I'm going to put a link in a banner, which I probably should have done before the stream started. But there's also going to be a link in the comments that we are trying to raise money for. I didn't know if you wanted to say a little bit about it now.
Sure. Absolutely. So Preemies of the Carolinas is an organization I just learned about because we had a premature baby. But basically what they do is it's a group of young ladies, older ladies, I think, but they knit blankets and hats and little scarves and things for premature babies. One of the things that they give out, they're called like love hearts. And what they do is they cut like a piece of fleece into a heart, and it's designed for the parents to kind of rub on themselves so that their scent stays on it, and you leave it in the crib with your baby while your baby's in the hospital. So it's one of those things that kind of provides comfort to both the baby and the parents in such a really crucial time. So this organization, when we had our baby, they reached out to us and sent us a huge care package. And one of their goals is to be able to send those types of packages to all the major hospitals in like this 2-state area where I live. So all those, anybody who donates to this organization, that's what you'll be donating for. Like I said, they knit the blankets, they reach out and provide support and they refer you to different organizations. Like they referred us to this organization that sends books, like free books for an entire year for your baby. So just really, really cool things that they do. They're a great organization. It's a great group of ladies that runs it. So if, we spend money all the time, but I mean, if anybody, $5 goes a really long way toward like crocheting needles and the little materials and stuff that they use to make up these blankets and things. I see a question. Perfect Edition Comics is asking if I'm in North Carolina or South Carolina. I'm in North Carolina. But yeah, this organization serves North and South Carolina. And like I said, they have a goal to get into like every hospital in the area. And so any donation will help them to fulfill the materials to do that. So I appreciate it.
Let's show some huge support for that charity. It's a really great cause. I'm glad that, we're able to bring some attention to it as well. And like I said, we all just need to have a good time as well, with it being Friday, finally. Which is exactly what TB Collects was saying. I know that's somebody that you yourself featured with recently, wasn't it, Comic Bound?
Yeah. Tyler, how's it going? Yeah, everyone go check out TB Collects. He's got some great live chats on his channel. Phil was on there. Phil from Phil's Nerdyverse. He was on there for the last one. That was a good chat. I'm actually probably going to be doing a video with Tyler soon, so yeah, watch out for that upcoming. But yeah, Tyler's a great guy, so it'd be good to have a chat with you soon, Tyler. It's been a while.
We've also got Blue Sonic in the chat. I believe I've seen him in a few of your comment sections as well, BJ. He's always a huge supporter of the YouTube comic book scene. Absolutely.
What's up, Blue Sonic?
We've also got Off My Shelves, who's got a great channel. I believe he recently passed a milestone as well. So congratulations, if that's what I'm thinking about. So congrats on that. That's the vaguest congratulations I think anybody's ever given anyone. Congratulations if that is you.
I think it was. I'm doing my fact checking here. So yeah, that was definitely a thing.
We've also got Marvel Bab in the comments, another UK guy who's always supported the channel, saying, good afternoon, chaps. And I'm thinking, good morning to BJ Kicks. Yeah, like, it's about, what time is it for you?
Yeah, it's 1:30 p.m. So it is afternoon, but it's definitely not evening. But good afternoon, everyone. I've never seen the word chaps used, except chaps is like an offshoot of like the Ralph Lauren clothing brand. So there's that. I love the UK terminology here.
I like as well how we take it for granted, and sometimes like we have to go, wait, yeah, that's a weird word when you think about it. Like
chaps.
I can't remember what it was, but there was a phrase that I kept saying to somebody, and like that makes absolutely no sense to me. I was like, oh yeah, of course it doesn't. I'll remember what it is after this stream happens probably, and I'll message both of you randomly like a week from now. Like, it's this phrase, and you're like, what on earth are you talking about? But that's what I'm talking about. We've also got Perfect Edition Comics. Thank you for tuning in. He's got a great channel as well. I think he recently passed a milestone.
That's a great logo.
Yeah, he did. When I used to do the Maddogg News Network, he did the logo as well for that. Like, he's a really really great guy. He also just loves the community. I know he's a massive manga fan as well. Obviously, it's difficult to talk about manga at the minute without talking about the passing of Kentaro Miura, which, caught the community by surprise. But yeah, that's a great channel that's got a perfect balance of comics and manga. And I know manga was something that you were trying to tip your toe into when we were speaking on the Marvel solicitations recently.
Yeah, I think I guess I'm gonna have to just jump into Berserk, which obviously is not gonna have an ending, or perhaps it will. But I mean, it's the one manga that I hear people talk about all the time. And I mean, they got these beautiful deluxe hardcovers. So I'm like, I might as well jump into those while you can still get them. So that's probably what I'm going to do.
I think they're going to stay evergreen if anyone's worried. I think that's true. Don't quote me on it, but I'm pretty sure, was it Omar said that they're going to try and reprint those, I think, quite often.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't worry too much. But yeah, it's getting a lot of talk at the minute, obviously for not very nice reasons, but the amount of outpouring of love about the, just how good he was at, doing this series, it's making me even want to check it out. And I'm not a manga guy at all. So, but when people gush about stuff like this, there's obviously something there, and it's very sad what happened, but yeah.
So I have a question while we're on the manga subject. Do you sort your manga on the shelf? Do you sort it from right to left, or do you from left to right?
I was wondering the same thing recently. I have no idea. Does anyone know?
Well, the Shadow Cat does it in numerical order, so it still goes the right way. It goes from, what's the right way? Is it left to right?
Left to right is the right way. Well, is the standard way, English way.
Yeah, the westernized way, I guess, is probably what we're going to have to coin it. Yeah, that's a good... But as well, when you go into bookshops, they still do it our way.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's different in Japan. Like if they...
Yeah. How would you do it not in the Western world? That's the real question.
Yeah.
If anyone knows in the chat, please chime in. That's I've always wondered that.
They just stack them top to bottom just to eliminate any confusion.
I mean, I think I would always sort it left to right, because that would just bug me that everything else is sorted left to right.
Yeah.
But yeah.
What would bug you more though? That, or do you know when like DC changes the logo mid series? What annoys you more?
That annoys me the most, actually. It annoys me that, like, I mean, I guess at least we have like the same standard logo, but I love the Marvel Omnibus logo, like the way they look on a shelf next to each other, like different series, different characters, but they look uniform. The DC spines are so ugly together, like it bothers me. It bothers me a lot, but we're not here to complain today. Maybe we are.
The only one that actually, before the complaint window closes, the one that really bothers me is the Batman Nightfall series, because it looked like they were going to be a continuing series, like a continuing picture, like the original Sin City copies. And then they just went, let's just put a different picture on that doesn't line up at all. It looks like someone's vomited the Bat Family onto my shelf.
We're just going to do 3 wraparound covers. There's no consideration for how the spines will look. And we'll put the title in really small font at the bottom. That way everybody knows exactly what's going on.
But then there's other times they completely hit it out the park. Like, I know Comic Bound recently got the Superman by Peter J. Tomasi omnibus, and that looks beautiful next to the Batman and Robin by Peter J. Tomasi omnibus. Like,
the Grant Morrison trilogy looks amazing.
Yeah,
I think that's
Injustice
the best thing over there. Yeah, Injustice is great too. I've heard Injustice Volume 2 is not nearly as good as Volume 1, but I still want it because of the spines.
Yeah, you can't just get Volume 1 of that series, can you?
I mean, I still
actually someone probably has. Unless, can you imagine if you're a manga reader that's got them, and now you've got to put them right to left, and it's just Superman and Batman being on the other side of each other,
back to back.
They're fighting other people.
The way it should be. we've got Captain Makasu saying, "Few perfect timing for joining the stream. Don't forget to smash that like button." Thank you. I hope everybody has a good time with this one, whether you're watching in the replay or you're watching live. Who else have we got in the chat? We've got the Comics Cavern saying the long-awaited Maddogg and BJ crossover event. Yeah, I'm not sure about yourself, but like, there's been people that are saying you need to do a video with BJ. It's like, yo, we're talking, we're getting it on the cards. Like, there's been a lot of demand for this one.
That's what's up. That's cool. It's very humbling to hear that I've been demanded by someone, because usually it's just my wife.
Michael's calling you the Maddogg.
I appreciate it.
That's got 3 Ds. That's more than mine.
I already claimed my YouTube URL, so I can't change it yet. But Maddogg, that's on the list. I might have to switch up.
You get a second channel, and then just
Maddogg.
Be a third.
Maybe that'll be where I put all the negativity. People know me for smiling and all that, right? I'll just go Maddogg, and I just have post rants on everybody.
Just do Shark Watch, instead of Whale Watch.
Exactly.
And there's a lot of people showing love, for your family, for your situation. What have we got here? But Maddogg just said BJ has the smoothest voice in the business, and I thought that was me. My Welsh tone's legendary. Yeah, like the Welsh code makes it exempt. Like, you're in your own class of smoothness, so that's it's a technicality. Like, if there's one thing I love on this channel, it's making technicalities so that it can still be right.
What's funny is I was watching Off My Shelves last week sometime, and my wife is Jamaican, and his Welsh accent sounds a lot like the Jamaicans, because of slavery. But I'm joking. But no, his Welsh accent sounds a lot like Jamaican. And so I asked him in the comments, like, "Are you Jamaican?" And I should have known the answer, but there are white people in Jamaica. So but anyway, he's like, "No, I'm from Wales." I'm like, that makes sense.
Yeah, same difference.
Why doesn't Princess Diana sound like that? But no, I'm joking.
Michael's saying hugs for your daughter, BJ. I hope she's safe in your arms at home as soon as possible. Yeah, and as well with I hope you have a smooth move as well, where you're moving at the minute to making a series on that. We've also got Bernie saying, how would you describe Buzzy's girlfriend? Have I missed something? All I can think of is Buzz Lightyear's girlfriend, that cowgirl, and she
Jessie. Yeah,
for a toy.
I mean,
I've seen worse looking toys. I'll put it that way.
It's something about that yarn ponytail,
Nobody beats Mrs. Incredible though when it comes to Pixar crushes.
I'm trying to think of
Elastigirl.
No, I don't. If we're just talking Pixar, nobody's topping her. I think that it's her, and then
it froze for me a little bit. Can everybody still hear me?
Yeah,
I can still hear you.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I think it's Mrs. Incredible, and then it's let's see, Mrs. Incredible, Lola Bunny. I don't know. I've not been one to fantasize over cartoons. So
you've lived a richer life than me. Then I'll tell you that much.
Just seen Phil's comment. Jessica Rabbit was always she's up there, but she's not Pixar. But she's a bit two-dimensional these days, I guess, for maybe some people's tastes. But... That
was literally how it felt then for me. It's like, yeah, which animation do you guys fancy? And it's like, just me, okay.
That was great.
Have you got an animated crush that you want to reveal to balance out the cards here, Comic Bound?
No, I mean, I don't know. People, yeah, I don't want to offend anyone, but yeah, I don't really think of cartoons that way. I mean, my cartoons as well. I watch a lot of Batman the Animated Series. I've got a crush on Kevin Conroy's voice, if that counts.
It's pretty good.
So I'll take that one. Other than that, yeah, I'm definitely all right with real women over fictional cartoons. So
when you guys were buying singles, Did you guys collect like the sexy covers?
When you said buying singles, I was like, look, dude, I'm desperate. I've never got that bad.
No, I've never really been into that. Like the whole like kind of Aspen comics side of things, where it's like, you know, the Michael Turner hot ladies covers. Never really got big into that.
I didn't realize that was still a big thing until I started buying the previews catalog. I was going to do a show called FOC, where I just like, hey, there's some stuff coming out. You should order it before it goes off sale. And I was looking at like the statues and stuff, and I'm like, yo, there's like a huge market for this, but I'm not in that market. So,
like, as well, I'm not sure about you two, but my local comic shop was really inconsistent. They could barely get the issue that I wanted, let alone the right covers. So I'm here like, wow, Omni-Man just like did something amazing. I can't wait to happen. What next? And it's like the series is already over.
Oh man, I have a great experience in my LCS. I was just telling Comic Bound offline, like I'm still buying single issues every week, just because I love shopping there and giving them my money. So yeah, they're great. They're great. I got a stack right next to me of books that I need to read from this week.
Do you want to give them a shout out on the slim chance that somebody else?
Sure. So
in the vicinity.
My LCS is Ultimate Comics Raleigh. If you watch my channel for any length of time, you'll probably hear me mention them. They actually sponsored a couple of my videos last week. But they have exclusive covers, and of course, the cover I want to show off is nowhere near me. But yeah, they do exclusive variants, and they do have an online shop. I believe they ship internationally. I'm sure it's more expensive. But just go to ultimatecomics.com and they'll get you right. I mean, if you're in the Raleigh area in North Carolina, off the off chance you decide to fly across the ocean, then you can stop in. You'll find Dan, Casey, or Trevor, and whoops. Yeah, you find Dan, Casey, or Trevor, and tell them I sent you, and they'll even give you one of my bookmarks with your purchase. So there you go.
That's pretty decent. If you got an LCS you want to shout out, Adam?
So they're not local to me, but like I really love OK Comics. They're based in Leeds in the UK. They are like the coolest like little shop. I've been there once years ago. I haven't been for a long time, but I've been ordering from them online. And they have the best customer service. Like honestly, like the guys will sort you out if you ever have a problem with anything. I just bought the 2 volumes 1 and 2 of Criminal from them recently. Unfortunately, they came damaged, which isn't really their fault. Obviously, that the Royal Mail kind of did them in. But
yeah,
when I messaged them and said like, you know, they came damaged or whatever, they were very apologetic. They helped me up with just a couple of extra free copies completely out of their own pocket, and basically changed the entire way that they package big heavy books because of that. So they really listen to kind of feedback and stuff like that. So I have to give them a massive shout out for that. They're really cool, and they're only used to selling, I think, mail order very recently because of COVID and stuff. They're used to single issues. They're not used to big heavy books. So I don't think they kind of understood exactly how the best ways is to package them through the brutal mail services that we have here in the UK. So, but they took that feedback on board. They sent me some extra, literally free copies. I got to keep the damaged ones, and they packaged them excellently, and they were very apologetic and understanding. So massive shout out to OK Comics in Leeds. Great guys.
So what does your mail people, they just throw the packages around?
Yes.
Like,
pretty much.
Yeah.
They wait till it rains and then leave it outside.
Yeah.
I've never had like huge issues with my mail, but I ordered something from Zavi recently, and when it arrived, it was in a box that was like clearly dismantled, and they had put that box in a plastic bag and just tied it shut. And like it was just like, oh, here's your books. And it was just on my porch. I was like, what happened to this? How did that? What? They didn't even try to put it in another box or anything. It was just like, oh, well. But everything somehow arrived undamaged.
Tyler, TB Collects in the chat. He's been ordering stuff from Zavi, and he had one turn up that was in. It was quite impressive, the condition that arrived in. I'll say that. So go check out his channel. I think he has some pictures of it on there somewhere. But yeah, the books survived somehow. I don't know how.
Yeah, same with mine. There was not a scratch on the books somehow, even though the books were not in a box at all.
Yeah, it's pretty good going.
I remember somebody. It wasn't even like somebody interfered or anything like that. Somebody literally sent. What was it? I think it was an omnibus whale that I'd been waiting on for ages. I think it was me first time trying to get Thor by JMS. He sent it in a bin bag and just wrapped it up in this bin bag. And I'm like, this is literally the book that I've wanted for 10 years. And you put it in a bin bag. Like, I know some people might think the quality indicates that it should be there, but for me, it just baffles me sometimes. And then obviously, like, I know obviously we're both affiliated with Organic Price Books and they are like the best for shipping. I genuinely, like, I didn't film this, but I headbutted the box just to see if anything happened. It hurt my head more than it hurt the box, like that. And it came obviously from overseas. I'm not sure where JP's based, if I'm honest.
Yeah, he's in Texas.
Nice.
But you headbutting the box, that actually makes a lot of things make more sense to me now. So I'm glad you told us.
Why didn't you film that? Like,
that's how if I filmed myself headbutting every box, that'd be all my channel is. So
you could set up a separate
I might get TikTok. Bang!
Yeah,
knives.
TikTok. That's perfect for TikTok. That's about the level of TikTok that I've ever seen. So yeah, that's fitting well.
If I just do a shit dance halfway through, then bam, TikTok. Like, I know obviously it's nothing to do with comics, but if you've seen that god-awful TikTok versus YouTubers boxing event.
No.
Like, what? Everyone on there is... I've never seen a boxing event where everyone deserves to be knocked out. Like, I don't want anyone to win. The best case scenario, the event gets cancelled and they'll just get punched in the face outside. That's the best case. But it just baffles me. It scares me. Like, what if we get summoned as YouTubers to box someone eventually? It's like, I'm frail.
So, Cade Rippin says, I've done a couple big Zavi hauls, but never had issues. I'll have to be careful in the future, though. So, Cade, I don't know if you even watch my channel, but I've done like 3 or 4 Zavi hauls. I keep buying these mystery boxes, and, you know, I always put like my affiliate link. And so they don't pay out on affiliate revenue. They just like give you credits to buy more stuff from their website. So it's just this never ending cycle of me buying from them. But I've only had that one bad experience. Every other time, everything comes really safe in this nice big box. It was just that one time they just came in a plastic bag somehow.
It's quite funny because the people who own Zavi, I think, own My Protein as well, which is obviously a protein company. And that's literally down the road from me. So, like, it's so weird thinking that there's this little... Because I always think of Stoke, where I'm from, as really small. Mm-hmm. But, like, they're sending packages across to North Carolina. I just find that, like, really... Just makes you realize how small the world is.
What's even crazier is they send packages to North Carolina for, like, $4. Like, they don't even charge international shipping. I don't know how they're making money off of this. Especially since I'm not even really paying for the things that they're sending me. I don't know how this is working for them.
I can see a boxing question. I'm just going to have to answer it quick because it's been an annoying week for boxing fans. Have you guys heard about this? Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury is turned into Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder 3.
I did see that. I don't follow boxing. My dad was a boxer. I just never cared. I never cared about it as much as he did. So like that was just it. But I remember seeing the Fury Wilder 2. And that was entertaining. At least the end of it was.
Yeah. That was brutal.
Yeah. So and I guess it's pay-per-view in the UK too. For me, you know, and I grew up like during the Mike Tyson era where you pay all this money to watch a fight and it's over in like 3 seconds. And so it's like I'm not paying for that. I'm just gonna watch it on YouTube later because it'll be on YouTube like right after. So
yeah, I'm the same. I'm like, it's kind of twofold because I don't want a boring fight that goes on for 12 rounds where nothing really happens. But like you said, if it's over in one round, it's like, especially for us in the UK, we had to stay up till about 4:00 in the morning for Fury Wilder 2. And like, admittedly, I like Fury as a boxer, but I don't like him as a person. I can't trust what he says. I know I'm probably going to get hated for saying that, but he says one thing and does another, and I just don't respect that. So I waited till 4:00 in the morning to see neither person that I'm really rooting for just brutally beat another person that I'm not really rooting for, and then listen to him complain that his costume was too heavy because he looked like a Power Rangers bad guy, which I appreciated.
That's funny. Nah, I watched the last fight I watched the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight, and it's just you wait so long for the fight to start. Like, I don't care about Jamie Foxx singing the national anthem. I don't care about any of this stuff, but it happens. And then I was watching, what was it? Who was it was it Logan or Jake Paul that fought Nate Robinson?
Uh,
That was Jake on the Mike Tyson, Roy Jones undercard, if I remember right.
Yeah. So I watched that. But that was difficult because it was like I was trying to find like a stream on my phone to watch because I didn't want to pay for it. But then it's like I don't want to watch old people fight for 10 rounds and not knock each other out. Like, it's like if I'm paying for a fight, I want to see somebody get knocked out. But that just feels really barbaric.
Yeah.
And so I got to stay away.
Like, I was going to say, if you lived in the UK, you wouldn't have to look far to find two old men having a fight and no one knocking either out. It's just two people doing that for ages. So, yeah, I totally agree with you there. But while we're on the topic of Jamie Foxx, it's really weird that you bring it up because I was researching into Spawn and he's signed on to play Spawn in the reboot. And like, I think that's so cool. Like,
that movie is never happening.
Don't crush my dreams, man.
I don't care who signs what, because Todd McFarlane wants to direct the movie. There's no studio that's gonna greenlight it. So
he could probably pay for it himself, though. Really,
yeah,
he probably could, but he won't, because to make Spawn the way you want to make Spawn, it's gonna cost a ridiculous amount to get the CG right. Like, or else you're just gonna end up with that ridiculous cape like we got in the last Spawn movie.
I mean, I haven't watched it in a while, admittedly, but in my mind, that cape looked amazing. But
even as a kid, I knew that
I
cape
might have
was
nostalgia. I might have nostalgia.
I think it's nostalgia too. We watched it. My wife and I watched it last month on HBO Max.
Oh, nice.
And that movie is terrible. That movie is so bad.
We were actually talking about this recently, weren't we, Marcus? Where it came up and I was like, I'm well up for watching that and doing like a review video on it or something. That'd be cool. I haven't seen it in years.
As well, like after we did the Snyder Cut talk with Joachim and Dano, I enjoy talking more about stuff that I didn't really like than stuff that I really did. Like, if you told me we could do a talk about Spider-Man, you know, the first Tobey Maguire, or even the second one, or we could talk about, like, you know, Spawn, or I don't hate this movie, but I know it's bad, but Wanted. You know, we'd literally talk about a movie where there's a league of assassins that can curve bullets based on what a loom knits into a cardigan and says that they should kill someone based off of. That is the most batshit crazy thing I could think of. Sign me up for talking about that for 8 hours. I'm good. Like, I'm not sure about you guys, but something that I could talk more about that.
My favorite part of that movie is the end where Morgan Freeman's like, shoot this motherfucker. And I will watch that entire movie just for that one line. So
I like the bit where he hits his boss in the face with a keyboard and it spells fuck you, but the second U is a tooth, and I'm like, this is the greatest thing that I've ever seen, but it's the worst thing that I've ever seen.
Right.
Like, that was Chris Pratt, wasn't it? His boss. I'm sure it was Chris Pratt. Like before Chris Pratt was like famous. Chris
Pratt was his friend that was boning his fiance.
He
had a boss that was that would hide donuts in a drawer, and he'd use that as like a diss at. And I'm like, mate, come on! Like, if that's the worst thing someone's hiding in a drawer at your office, you've got a good office. Like,
man,
what's sort of like your guys's? Like, if you had to pick like a favorite and least favorite comic book movie, what are you guys going with?
My favorite, I think my favorite is The Dark Knight. Like I return to that movie more than anything else. Although Batman Forever was like my first Batman movie, and so I watched that. I watched that a lot too. And my least favorite is probably the first Superman movie. I've still not gotten through that movie.
I have to leave. I'm sorry.
I was going to say it's good seeing you, BJ. Like, I'm going to have to leave me on stream now. Like,
do you guys like that movie?
On me.
Yeah. Oh man,
I watched it as a kid. Like growing up, it was the only thing that they had on ITV for most weekends. That and Titanic, and I don't really like Titanic, so I had to watch Superman.
What bothers me about it, well, there's several things. One, that opening sequence is so slow. Like I feel like the movie doesn't start for like 10 minutes. And then it's like just Marlon Brando just talking forever. And he doesn't even pronounce Krypton or Kal-El correctly. It's like
Krypton
and Kal-El. And it's like, what? Did you read any of this? Did anybody ever talk to you about this? And it bothers me. And I'm not even a big Superman fan to begin with, but it's like, okay, you didn't even try in your own Superman movie. So,
well, he got paid the most. If I genuinely think like half of the, don't quote me on this, Adam, please fact check. But I genuinely think that half of all the like cost of actors went to Marlon Brando, because obviously it was after The Godfather. He's more, they wanted, because it was Superman, and at that time comic book films weren't really a known commodity. They wanted a name to make it look authentic in a similar way that they got Jack Nicholson in Batman '89. So they were like, I don't care how much you have to spend, get Marlon Brando. And he was like, I don't want to do a Superman film. I'm only going to record a few lines. I'm only going to do a few things. I'm not going to pronounce Krypton correctly. So I think that's what it was.
I love Batman '89 though.
Yeah, classic.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was just going to say my kind of favorite superhero films would like Batman Returns. I watch every year. That's my Christmas movie. I watch every year on Christmas Eve. But as far as other favorites go, I really loved Into the Spider-Verse. I think that's like almost a perfect film. Yeah, that's a really good one, a modern one, I guess. But I do have a lot of love for the old Superman films, even like the Superman 3 with like Richard Pryor in it. Like I watched him when I was a kid and he's just funny. So like, I don't know, I've got a soft spot for that. Superman 4 is hard to watch. Even as a kid, I knew that was a really bad film. But yeah, I mean,
I bought a DVD box set of all 4 Superman movies for like $2 at this mom and pop comic shop in my hometown. And I've still not watched any of them. I haven't. I did watch. Is it Superman Returns with like the whole plane crash thing? I watched that one. It was decent. Yeah, Superman's hard for me to get into.
Yeah,
you're not the only one. I think that's a common kind of criticism with Superman in general, isn't it? That he's not very relatable and he's hard to write. So yeah, I get it. It's hard to do a good Superman story. I don't think it's easy. So yeah,
it's kind of the same argument with games. So it's like, what do you do? Do you nerf him? So do you not make him as powerful as he can be, so that he can at least have a foe, somebody that can really match him? Or do you show him as really superpowered and have no real threat, and he just goes about and he can take care of anything in 2 seconds? So I don't know. It's weird because we're at polar opposites. Like Superman Returns got criticized for being quite boring, which I don't really think it was, but it didn't have a lot of action, which I'll agree with. It was more a thinking film after that plane scene that you spoke about. And then you got Man of Steel, which is just Dragon Ball Z with Superman in it. Like, there's no middle ground, but a middle ground would be where a perfect Superman film, I think, would lie. Sorry, I believe you were going to say something.
Oh no, I was just gonna. I mean, I'm just now getting into like Superman comics, and what I love about the Superman comics that I've been reading here lately is that Superman to me seems to be more about family than anything else, and family values. And maybe it's just because I'm a dad, right? But like Superman interacting with his son John, like I love all of that. And I think even like the new Superman and Lois TV show, I think handles that part well, but there's like almost no action in that show.
Yeah.
But I think like a Superman game would be cool. Like I think one of the best parts about the Batman Arkham series is you get the first person fights or whatever, but then you get to drive around in the Batmobile. And what kid doesn't want to drive the Batmobile?
Yeah.
Right? Like getting like the first person perspective, like flying as Superman, that should be the most fun thing in a game like that you play in any week. Like I feel like they could pull it off. Like you could, because Superman, yeah, he's OP, but all you got to do is just make a huge villain and just you could increase the fight difficulty. Like I mean, I love the Injustice games. So
yeah, who'd you play as? Who's your go-to character?
Oh, I play as Batman. I've played as Superman, and then I've also played as there's like a little mod and you can play as John Stewart Green Lantern.
That's
so
cool.
But the two that I play as the most are Batman and John Stewart.
Mm. How about yourself, Adam?
I don't think I've ever played it yet, actually.
Who would you choose?
I mean, Oh, sorry. Man, like, okay, I know it's kind of sidestepping the question a bit, but for me, computer games, if I was going to be a superhero, it's Spider-Man, because, I mean, the Sony games that they've done are just like the perfect kind of traversing an environment for me, like web slinging in those games. They nailed it.
It's so great.
For me, it's like that. Yeah, that's almost unbeatable. Like flying around just wouldn't cut it after that, because flying's just boring. There's no physics involved. It's just A to B.
That sense of momentum, isn't it? Like I remember when I was a kid playing Spider-Man 2 on the PS2 for the first time, and it, like, honestly, that year was the greatest year of my life, because that game came out and GTA San Andreas came out. Like gaming was dead after that year for me. Like nothing's been the same since. Like San Andreas, I think I must have put a good 500 hours into just driving around, just playing different cheats. And then Spider-Man 2 just swinging around, and that annoying kid that kept losing his grip on his balloon. Like I'd still do it even for hours. Like, but yeah, it's like, had Insomniac done it better, or is it still that the first experience of swinging that's more important?
I wasn't allowed to play San Andreas, but I did play Spider-Man at my friend's house, and I don't even remember like fighting any villains. It was just the web slinging. That's all I remember about that game. But that was the best part.
Yeah, 100%. Like that's all anybody did. They'd turn it on. There'd be a story mission, and you'd go the opposite direction, so you could see how quick you could jump off the Empire State Building, and it'd be the same. It'd be the same answer every time, but you'd do it 100 times.
That's great.
I just saw this comment I wanted to highlight from Joe, who's also got his own book out this month. Superman can be done very well. So many incredible stories you can do with him, but people fall into the same tropes over and over. Same with Wonder Woman. I wanted to know if you agreed with the Wonder Woman thing, because we've had a few films from her now, and I wondered where you sort of stood with her, if it was the same sort of issue as with Superman, or...
So I haven't gotten into much Wonder Woman. I bought the Gail Simone omnibus, but then it arrived kind of damaged, so I haven't really opened it up to read it yet. What about you, Adam? Have you read Wonder Woman?
I've read the New 52 run. That was amazing. That was kind of my first proper Wonder Woman in comics, apart from just seeing her pop up in other stuff. So that was my first solo Wonder Woman, and that I really loved it. It was a really good run. I've also got the Gail Simone one. I hear it's good, but I've not read it yet either. So I want to get, like, she's one of the characters I kind of want to get more into. I feel like, there's probably some good stuff out there that I've not got into, but I didn't really like the movie. I know a lot of people love the first one and say the second one's not very good. I haven't seen the second one yet, but the first one was all right, but nothing special. But yeah.
I thought the first one was cool. I think the best thing about Wonder Woman is just highlighting how powerful she is. So like between that first movie and her being the one to like corral Clark in was it Yeah, Justice League, in that first Justice League. I think it just shows how powerful she is, but also Gal Gadot's casting shows how graceful she is. And I think that's just really dope. And that's what made me want to read Wonder Woman comics, to see if it's more of the same.
As well, just whilst we're talking on Wonder Woman, Perfect Edition Comics recently just did one on Wonder Woman Dead Earth. That looks like a great Wonder Woman book. Like, I think characters like Superman and Wonder Woman, and even to a certain extent Batman, they thrive best in Elseworld-like tales. Like, Superman Red Son is probably the best Superman story. And I've heard Wonder Woman Dead Earth, people say that that's one of the best Wonder Woman stories. And it's like the best ongoing series at the minute. It's definitely Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Last Ronin.
I just picked it up, so I haven't read it yet, but it looks really cool.
That's really dope.
Yeah.
I hate that I love that the Black Label books are oversized, but I mean, I'm moving right now, and I hate that they don't fit in boxes.
Yeah, they're weirdly wide, but I think it's great. Off My Shelves just did a kind of overview of it, and I think he was campaigning for just all the comics ever to be in this format, but I'm not sure I agree with it quite that much, but I do love it on occasion.
Just want to give a shout out to Omnination Comics. Great channel. He's just got such a great, warm, positive, like, personality to him. Like, he's such a good dude. He's making big
his
waves
room
as well.
tour. Go watch his room tour. It's like the best room. That's like the most energetic room tour I've ever seen anyone do. Like, I did my own room tour, and it was just boring. It was like me just shaky camera looking at my shelves, and it was just, I don't know why anyone would watch it. And it was like an hour long, maybe even more. His was amazing.
Dede's got such great stuff going on his channel, like between his niece showing off the omnibuses, and then his mom singing. Like, he just got so much going for him that none of us could pull off. Like, it's great.
I know, like, I watch his videos and it's like, shit, I thought I was hyped for comics. Like, I feel like I'm really placid when I watch one of his videos. He's got such energy to him.
I told him, I was like, I have to remind myself, like, if I'm watching his video, to turn my volume down, because he'll be like, and look at this page. This page is great. I'm like, oh, snap. I wasn't ready. His channel is great. You guys should definitely check him out.
I really love his channel. It'd be great if we could, like, do another MDC and get him on as well. I think that'd be way too hyped for one stream, but we'd do it. Like,
I do it. I know when to take a back seat and just let people run. So
I don't. That's my problem. I'm just always like, if I talk all the time. Rob's saying, rest in peace to the creator of Berserk. Farhan also had a suggestion for you that you can never go wrong with Wonder Woman by Greg Rucka. I've read both part of his Rebirth and part of his original. Definitely agree with that.
Word. Somebody asked how we felt about the Snyder Cut. Have you guys watched it?
Yeah, we did a whole video on that one. You can go check out on it was on Joachim's channel. So we did a stream. It has a Luke Skywalker level cameo from a certain person as well. If you want to go check that one out,
that's dope.
Yeah, it's well covered on there. But I gave it 5 out of 10. Spoiler alert. That was my overall score.
So I still haven't finished the Snyder Cut. So, but the Snyder Cut is near and dear to me, because the night that my wife and I decided we were going to watch it, that's when her water broke, and that's how my daughter got here. So we started watching the movie, fell asleep, and woke up to, oh my gosh, I think my water broke. So I actually have that shirt. Move the camera a little bit. I got the shirt from Zavi. It says we released the Snyder Cut. We refer to my wife's C-section as the Snyder Cut. And when we bring my daughter home from the hospital, we're going to be wearing those shirts. I got one for me and one for my wife. So yeah, it's going to be fun. So
no matter what the film is like, really, it's going to have a special place in your heart after that, I guess.
Exactly. I bought the poster. I'm going to put it up on the wall in the new space. Yeah. I'm committed. I don't know if I'm ever going to watch all 4 hours of that movie, though.
Just watch the last hour.
Oh, yeah?
I mean, there's some good stuff towards the end. I'll give it that. But, like, yeah. So how far? You got, like, halfway through. Were you liking it to that point? Or
the last thing I really remember, like, the one thing that the whole Flash hot dog scene sticks out. And then I think we got to, like, the first fight with Steppenwolf and like his kind of extended run with the Amazons. Like that was cool. I like his new design.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't remember the rest of that movie. And I don't know when I'm gonna watch it, because to block out 4 hours of my life to do anything is just wild. Like that just sounds like such a ridiculous ask. Like, just do a part 1 and a part 2.
Like, the thing is, it's weird that you mentioned Zavu, because they've got this really beautiful steelbook Lord of the Rings extended cut, but 4K Blu-ray. I think I sent it to Adam and I was like, I need this. And I love the Lord of the Rings, and Snyder Cut loves Lord of the Rings as well. I can't even block out 4 hours for one of them. So I'm totally with you. Like, and as well, I've heard that there's still stuff that was left out. Like, he did Jon Stewart Green Lantern, and it's like, you literally had a movie where they said, do what you want, we don't care about the time. And
That's
you still left stuff out.
That was the one exception to their do what you want. They blocked him
was it?
from and that's so reading up on this afterwards. That's why, the very end scene. Spoiler alert for anyone who's not seen it. Maybe skip ahead or cover your ears or whatever. But the very end scene with
Okay.
Okay. The bit with the guy who turns up right at the end to wake up Bruce Wayne, and it's a very awkward, like,
so
cool
weird.
story, bro, conversation. That was supposed to be Green Lantern, Jon Stewart Green Lantern, but it was who it ended up being because the studio blocked it because of the upcoming HBO show, I believe. So yeah, that was the one exception to, I think, the whole do what you want, free reign kind of deal.
Oh, that's great.
Which is a shame, because I think I would love to see Jon Stewart Green Lantern on screen.
Overall, I mean, from what I've seen of the Snyder Cut, I do like that the characters' backstories were a bit more fleshed out, because when I look at the original Justice League, it just kind of doesn't make sense that they come together the way they do. Right. And so what I did like that about the Snyder Cut, like even giving Wonder Woman the motivations and like explaining like the whole signal and a lot of that stuff, a lot of the stuff that was in there, I feel like was necessary to the story, but I just would have rather have had it the first time around, because it's like I'm watching this new version of it, but a lot of it is still the same footage that we already saw, just done differently. Obviously Cyborg had like the best revamp, but overall it's just like I want this differently somehow.
Yeah. I think as well, like, it's good that chapter's sort of done to an extent. Like, I know everybody's saying hashtag restore the Snyder universe, but at least if you don't get that, you've still got a sort of ending. Like, you've got a complete journey of Superman to a degree. It's not like it was before. Like, if you never get a Justice League 2, like, to me, it sounds like Zack Snyder doesn't want to do a Justice League 2. It sounds like that's a part of his life that he's put behind him. And I'm like, you know what? I kind of get that sometimes. Like, you've done everything that you can do. And if it doesn't work, sometimes you do need to step away. Like, you'd be facing a much more uphill battle to get Justice League 2 out, because it'd be going out to general public rather than, it being circulating on HBO Max. Like, it'd have to stand on its own 2 feet there. So I think we've got an ending with that saga, and the fact it even exists is kind of a miracle in its own right.
It's absolutely a miracle. No studio's like, oh, you didn't like this movie? Okay, we'll put it out again.
I was going to say George Lucas is probably doing something with one of the Star Wars sequels right now for the 18th time.
Probably. We're going to get another remaster. Like, oh, I didn't like the CGI in episode 1, so here you go. Here's Jar Jar 2.0.
Oh, God, please don't.
You know what? Star Wars is killing it with omnibuses this year. I have to give them respect for that. Like, they win DM variants of the year. Like, beautiful.
I still need, if anybody watching this stream just loves me, I need the Star Wars Omnibus by Jason Aaron. I had the 3 hardcovers, the oversized, and I sold them to buy an omnibus from In Stock Trades, and I just didn't pull the trigger fast enough, and now it's out of print. So that I need that. If somebody is selling it for anywhere near $100 US, let me know and I'll buy it.
I'll keep my ear out for that one as well, because I know it went on sale with Cheap Comics yesterday, but as soon as somebody posted that it was available, it disappeared. But with Star Wars, it's such a big name. I imagine local comic shops probably got a few in because like that issue 1 sold like the most of the last decade. So
really,
like it'd be cool if somebody in the chat was just like, yeah, there you go. That'd be cool.
That would be cool. I do these things now because you never know who's watching. Every now and then somebody's like, hey, I got it. That's how I got Black Cotton. I put it out in the video like, hey, I still need issue number 1 in this series. And somebody in my Facebook group was like, hey, I got it. You can have it. And he just sent it to me.
So cool.
So
to be fair, it happened with me. Baharaf, who's in the comments at the minute, I'm buying Scene of the Crime off him because it was in my top 10 Image Wales. And he was just like, yeah, I've got 2. I was like, man, thank you. And you sent me Flex Mentallo. Because
I mean, some of us just buy 2 of stuff for no reason.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Baharaf says that Amazon UK's got it for £84.65. Maybe they can. I know Amazon's quite good at international shipping.
Yeah, we can buy stuff from the US, so I imagine it works the other way around.
Let's see how this goes.
Yeah, you're watching BJ buy a book live on the MDC.
84.65. I'm just gonna see.
I genuinely worried you would tell me your PIN number then. I was genuinely no, your mic's not on mute.
I love that this is called the basket and not the cart. That's great.
Oh, is that
where
different?
Do I check out?
Okay.
Oh wait, you have to create a UK account?
No, you should be able to.
I don't think so.
Okay, well let me do this.
Just SEC said that he's selling me Scalp Deluxe editions. I get paid on Monday. It's just been such a busy week.
I've already been paid out.
You've probably already got 2 sets of the Scalp Deluxe editions.
No, that's cool. I'm not gonna snipe them. I'm not gonna.
Can I still buy your 100 bullets off you when the second Omnibus gets announced?
If it's DC. Remember, if there's a reason why I've not sold them already, and it's because. Well, DC. So
DC's doing better though. Who would have thought we'd get Green Arrow by Mike Grell Volume 2 announced this quickly?
Yeah, I mean the real test is for me is going to be. I know it's still kind of not technically finished yet in single issues, but when they announce American Vampire Volume 2 Omnibus, whether or not they do that, because if they don't, I'm going to be heartbroken. I love that series, but I started reading it in singles, and now I don't really buy singles. I'm like dependent on that second omnibus now to complete the whole story. So if they don't come through with that, I'm going to be absolutely heartbroken. I love that series.
That is a good one. I read that in singles as well because I was just running on the Scott Snyder hype.
Yeah.
And the hype paid off. And I don't mean hype in a negative way, but literally it was just, I didn't know anything about the title, but I just saw the name Scott Snyder and I was like, yeah, I'm in. Because it's like another book that's like that at the minute. I think you picked it up recently. Is Ether by Matt Kint? Because on my pull list, everybody was like, you haven't got Ether on it. I was like, I don't even know what this book is, but I read into it. It sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, it sounds cool. And mostly I'm just sold on the name Matt Kint because, I think he's really cool. So...
Speaking of Matt Kint, so I don't know if you guys even get Bad Idea Comics in the UK. I doubt it, but they did. Robert Venditti wrote a book called Hank Howard Pizza Detective. They sold it. They sold it for $1. The Hank Howard Pizza Detective story is in black and white, and it's like 6 pages at best. And then the backup story, I can't even remember what it's called, but the backup story is written by Matt Kint. And the premise of the backup is there's this guy who can rewind time. He's basically like on like this team, kind of like the X-Men, but his power is he can rewind time, kind of like a video game, and just kind of replay every moment and like so until they win the fight. And when he does that, no one else ages, but he ages. And what we find out in the issue is that basically there's like an apocalypse coming, like the end of the world is coming, and he has tried like 3 or 4 times to avoid it, but it's still coming. So he's like a 60-year-old man at this point, and the rest of the team is like, come on, man, reset so we can redo this. And he's like, no, I'm not, because I don't want to die. I don't want to keep living this moment over. because he has to live every moment back in real time. So if he goes back 10 years, he's going to age by 10 years to get back to the same point. It's just such an interesting story, and I hope
That
they like
sounds
go.
amazing.
I hope they go full series on it because it is so good. It's the best thing that I read 2 weeks ago. So
it's called Pizza
I thought you were going to
Detective.
say 2 years ago, and it's like weeks. I was like, oh, okay.
So the book it was in is called Hank Howard Pizza Detective. And it was a book that was on sale. They sold it for $1, and you could only buy it for 24 hours. If you didn't go to your shop and pick it up on Wednesday, the shop was told to send it back to the publisher. So I think that book, last I checked, was going for like $15 on eBay. But it's such an interesting story. I don't know if it's gonna go to full series or what, but it was just such a good book. I loved it. And Matt Kent wrote it, so there's that.
Cool.
I froze a bit there.
Sorry.
Can people still hear me?
Yep.
Okay, good. It's the weather's awful at the minute here, so like Adam will be back with us in a minute. There was a good question here though. With the success of WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier, do you see the upcoming Moon Knight series living up to the hype? Firstly, how have you enjoyed WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier? I haven't had a chance to talk to you about it.
So I watched WandaVision all the way through. Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I have not. I haven't really watched any TV since my daughter was born. Like I shoot my videos and then I go to the hospital. But I watched the first episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and I've seen all the fanfare online. But I mean, Marvel does nothing wrong, in my opinion. Like the MCU is like perfect, and especially in that they make you care about characters that I would never have picked up a Captain America book. I would never pick up an Iron Man book, right? But these characters, the way they tell this epic story across every single movie, even Captain Marvel was good, in my opinion. So I think Moon Knight, like the fact that you even have a character who is like so street level, and then with all the multiple personalities and stuff, like there's no way Moon Knight isn't good.
I think if anything as well, it's going to be the TV shows that probably outperform the movies, because I think I agree with what you're saying. Perfect's a bit of a strong word for me personally, but I respect that that's how you feel about it. But I think the MCU movies have peaked. Like they're never going to top Endgame for me personally. Like, you know, that moment where everyone's coming out the portals, they all assemble, Cap gets the hammer, and spoilers if you haven't seen this film in the year since it's come out or whatever it was. And you know, when he says Avengers Assemble, it's like that is to me the perfect cinema moment. It's never going to be topped. Like it's the equivalent of people who first saw Jurassic Park in the cinema the first time they saw the T-Rex, and they say that, or the first people who saw Star Wars in the cinema. But like, if I'm being honest with you, don't get me wrong, Marvel has the ability to make, like you said, to make me care about anything. For me, it was Guardians of the Galaxy because I knew them from the Annihilation Saga, but I just knew them as the team from the Annihilation Saga. They made me want to read Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right.
But you know, looking at this future slate, we've got Eternals, which I've not read too much about. I've heard some good things, but how do they make me care about that? You know, what else have we got? Thor 4 seems to not be about Thor. Like, don't get me wrong, it could still be cool, but it's like Chris Hemsworth's just there in the same way that Marlon Brando was in Superman, to just say that he's still there. And it's like, the TV shows have me a lot more excited. I think that's what I'm trying to say in a long-winded way.
Yeah. Phase 4 is going to be a tough sell, but I think the TV shows are going to lead well into it. And so I think that's going to be what gets people back invested in it. Because for my wife, for example, she's like, Robert Downey Jr. is done. I'm done. Is how she felt. But then we watched WandaVision and she's like, okay, I got to figure out what happens. And I mean, they're planting the seeds for so many characters. I mean, Monica Rambeau, right? Like there's a lot of things that you know they're going to pick up on later. But I mean, it's true. Just looking at the titles of the movies, it's a tough sell. Like, I'm like, okay, Black Widow's already dead. Spoiler alert, my bad. Why is there a Black Widow movie, right? I've never cared about the Eternals. is this movie gonna make me? Is that gonna change my mind? But it's really like, like you said, who is going to make me care about that universe more than I already cared about, like Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
And Captain America and all that. I mean, I love the Falcon, but it's like, do we really feel that connected to go through another 15 movies, with these as the linchpin?
I feel a lot more connected than if they hadn't have done the series. Though I think that was the biggest takeaway for me from the TV stuff that they've done, WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier, was that before, I mean, both sets of characters there, like Wanda and Vision and Winter Soldier and Falcon, I didn't really have any attachment to them at all. Whereas now, at least I've got a little bit. And I think that's something, and I think that's the entire point of those two shows so far was, it's to get you bought in again to the next wave. Because after Endgame, I was kind of done. I was like, okay, I might check stuff out if it sounds good, but I'm not going to get hyped. I'm not looking forward to anything. Like, all the stuff was announced, and I was never kind of like, oh my God, I'm going to be there day one at the cinema with my ticket. But like, I was kind of done. Like, I'd check it out if they got good reviews or whatever, but Endgame felt like an end to me. So and then checking out WandaVision, I kind of got a bit excited again, and and now I'm a bit more attached to both sets of characters. I can feel them trying to like pull me back in, just when I thought I was done and all that. So that's what I think they've done well, at least. So,
do you think that maybe they've shot themselves in the foot by announcing too much too soon, though? Because it's like, when's the next wave of announcements going to be if we know what's coming out till like 2023? Or they're just going to put even more in? Because there is that risk of oversaturation, and I'm not sure how you guys feel about that.
So I don't think they really need to announce anything for the next few years. All you got to do now is give me footage of the movies. And, now that things are opening up in the US, I think that we're going to start getting that. We're going to get those teaser trailers. And all it really takes is one good trailer to get everyone right back in,
Yeah. Like, that's what the Batman proved, because I wasn't against Robert Pattinson as Batman anyway, but I was cautiously optimistic. But then I saw that trailer and I was immediately like, this is the greatest film of all time. And it's like, I've seen 2 minutes of it. And it's not even, at the time when that trailer came out, it wasn't even finished. And I'm like, this film could genuinely be awful. Like, did you guys see that image of the Riddler that came out? How he looks more like the Zodiac Killer?
No.
I don't know if maybe I'm just too in love with this film in general already, but I don't hate that look at all.
I don't care, because they're not going to keep it, right? That'll be his like initial look, and then later on he'll drop the gimp mask and all that. Like, what I mean? Like, they're not gonna. That's not the Riddler.
Yeah, they're not keeping the Riddler looking like
this. He'll evolve into something that's more like the Riddler that we want and know.
This one photo, he looks like Doom.
Yeah, I can kind of see that now that you've pointed it out.
That's crazy.
Can you imagine if that's the best on-screen Doctor Doom we've ever seen, and it's in a Batman film?
Listen, this is already better than the one from was it Fantastic Four with the 4 as the A, whichever one.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that Doctor Doom looked terrible. Yeah, this Riddler is the better version of that Doom.
In a weird way, though, like in a similar to how we got the Snyder Cut. I remember when Fantastic was coming out, and Josh Trank was this director that was coming off of Chronicle, which is a film I really enjoyed. And he said the day before it came into cinemas, he was like, "This isn't my film." And apparently 20th Century Fox were going to sue him. And I'm like, you know what? I want to see either a documentary about the creation of this, or I want to see his proper version of this Fantastic Four, because it is kind of a similar storyline to the Snyder Cut, except for that Josh Trank never got a chance in the first place to get a film out for the company.
Well, release the Trank cut.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's be super toxic. Let's yell at everybody. Let's put it under every movie that comes out until they release the Trank cut.
Yeah. Is there a new cut of Mamma Mia? Release the Trank cut.
If I look distracted, it is because I am distracted. I'm playing. I am in my link in bio. I just added a link so people can donate to the Premiers of the Carolinas. So if you're on my Instagram, if you're anywhere, you'll see my link tree. It's just bjkicks.link/bio, and that's where you can shameless plug. Excuse me, shameless plug. You can watch my YouTube channel. You can join my Facebook group. You can save with all of our channel partners, or you can donate to my favorite organization, Premiers of the Carolinas. So there we go.
As well, there's links for both Adam's and BJ's channel in the description down below. I believe also that there's a link on your channel for your link tree.
Yes.
So if you don't want to have to get your phone out or anything, you can click that link in the description of here, and you can find it that way. And also make sure, if you're not already subscribed to these guys, make sure that you're subscribed. But here's a good question from Captain Makasu. Are you guys looking forward to the animated Long Halloween Part 1 and 2, as well as the new animated Batman HBO show?
I'm more excited for the Batman HBO show. Bruce Timm is on, and that's all I need on a Batman project. Right, Bruce Timm on animation, or at the very least overseeing the art. Like, I'm sold. The different ears is kind of weird to me, so I'm interested to see what they're doing with that and how.
They're more like how he in his original appearance. They're a bit more like that. That's why I think they're going for that vibe, which I really like that idea. So I
mean, if it's like a Batman Year One type series, I need to see the voice cast though. Right, like I feel like it's unrealistic to ask Kevin Conroy to do it again, but like, who else do you get?
Please.
Oh, I thought you meant please let them ask you.
No, not me.
Yeah.
What do you really think this could do? Batman? Like, my voice is trash. Kevin Conroy is Batman for me. So,
but the argument is this: that the point of Batman is it's supposed to be someone that you wouldn't think would be Batman. That's why Michael Keaton was good casting, because nobody saw Michael Keaton as Batman. But the point of Batman is that you can't figure out who he is. So by me thinking that you wouldn't be a good Batman, you'd be a great Batman. So I support you fully.
Is this how we justify bad casting decisions? Is that what that's for?
Well, if he's pushing me for Batman, then yes, that's exactly what this is.
Robert Pattinson's like, phew, the heat's off me now.
Nah, I gotta lose a few pounds so then I can play Tim Fox Batman.
Oh, they cancelled that omnibus, didn't they? They cancelled the Batwing omnibus.
They canceled the Batwing omnibus, and now we're getting like this thick trade that I'm really upset about, actually.
Me too. I like that in the New 52, and I was ready for that omnibus. Like, don't cancel Batwoman next. That's me other worry that I'm like, what if it's the Batpocalypse and it's just Batwing gone, Batwoman's next, Batgirl of Burnside's after that. Like, it worries me.
Yeah.
So how is the Batgirl Returns omnibus? Like, how are those stories? I've never bought any Batgirl stories before.
I remember it from when I was reading it in single issues, so maybe I've got rose-tinted glasses. And I only thought it was 12 issues long, but somehow it was 35, so I'm not sure if that tells you anything. Have you ever had that where you're like, I swear that series wasn't that long? Like, somebody's trolling me, but the 12 issues that I read was great. You just have to be okay with Barbara Gordon not being Oracle, which some people just couldn't get past. They wouldn't look past that at all, to the point that, so I don't know, maybe put your pre-Killing Joke in your own sort of way of justifying it. But I do you like the New 52 in general? It's my jam. So
I mean, the when I got into comics, and this was only 2 years ago, I had a choice. I could either go with New 52 or Rebirth, and because of New 52 Batman, I kind of went all in New 52. So I like New 52. And I just see Rebirth as another way to jump on. But it definitely does get kind of wonky toward the end, but because I read Batman mostly, it's all great. So
I know you're a big fan of the New 52, aren't you, Adam? We've spoke about it quite intensely.
Yeah. I got into comics like pre-New 52, but I was in time to kind of get into all of that as well. And like, Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff at the start as well, like especially for me. I never read the Batgirl run though, so I did just pick up the Omnibus, and I've heard good things about it. I'm not too fussed about the way that they like. I think it's a shame because I did really love Oracle, but her becoming Batgirl again, I know it rubbed a lot of people up the wrong way, and I'm fine with it to a point. I kind of wish that she'd become Oracle again in the future, as sadistic as that sounds, but like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like they took away something there, like diversity wise and stuff. So I thought that was a bit of a shame, but I think, you know, it's supposed to be a good run, so I'll give it a go.
I hate to be the spoiler, but I know this will make Adam happy. So currently, Barbara is more of an Oracle type figure. Like, and the way she justifies it is, okay, well, I won't go that deep. There's something that happens that makes her feel like maybe I shouldn't be like doing this.
Yeah.
And so she's kind of just decided to take a step back and just kind of just play the Oracle role. And it makes so much sense because there are already so many members of the Bat family. We don't really need Barbara Gordon as Batgirl to move things forward. So right now, like in the comics, she's basically Oracle. So
that's cool. Like, that's exciting to me. Like, I need to check some of this newer stuff out. I've stopped buying singles for a long time now, and I'm waiting for that kind of stuff to now come out in like an omnibus or a hardcover of some kind. But that's exactly what I want to hear. So you're right about that.
DC's been doing pretty good at releasing the standard hardcovers for this new Batman run, but there's no word on anything oversized. I mean, we still don't have volume 6 of Tom King. So
I've heard a lot of people wanting that one because I read the first part of that series, but we've got James Tynion's run now in Omnibus, which I believe started at the same time. So it can't. I don't know. Would it be something that you'd switch and go Omnibus with if they didn't do a volume 6 of Tom King, but they did an Omnibus of Tom King? Would that be the way you'd go about it?
The Omnibus of Tom King would have to be 2 parts. He did 85 issues. So I would kind of be forced to do it. Yeah. But then I'm like, if I buy Tom King Volume 1, am I really going to wait 3 years for Tom King Volume 2 just to finish this story that I'm only 13 issues away from finishing? You know? So chances are I'm just going to buy I think I'm missing like 6 issues between the City of Bane and that last deluxe edition. So I'll probably just track down those single issues and just leave it unfinished until, you know, they solicit the omnibus. Yes, to answer your question, I would be the sucker that would double dip and buy them both in omnibus format. But I don't see them printing it. It doesn't make sense because James Tynion's Batman is just so much better. So I don't see them releasing Tom King in omnibus format, especially since the consensus is it drops off after issue 50. So it's like, who's really going to buy that volume 2? They're going to solicit it. No one's going to order it, and it's going to get canceled, and it'll just be another unfinished omnibus set. Is how that'll happen.
I mean, but it's got Batman on the title, so people will buy it.
And omnibus,
exactly.
That's true. That's true. And I mean, they keep reprinting the Snyder one apparently. So
thank God as well, because I was like, I am not buying that volume 1 until they solicited volume 2. They solicited volume 2, and it was that volume 1 was in stock nowhere, and I was like, oh shit. But luckily, it just came. Go out for me next haul, because that was like probably the main highlight of the new 52.
Yeah,
probably. Although I did like the first 12 issues of Justice League, and I loved the Aquaman stuff, but I'm so glad that I managed to get that one. Joachim just wanted to pop in and say a quick hello. He wanted to ask me if I made my bed today based off his recent video. I did make it today. There was a day in the week that I didn't, though, but I've just added an extra day so that I can still do it for 21 days. It was a video talking about how he makes his bed at the beginning of the day because then he's accomplished something. And it sort of changed your mentality for the rest of the day. And I was like, you know what? It takes 21 days to make something a habit. I will give this a go for 21 days, every single day, making my bed. So I'm is it 3 of, maybe, I think I'm on 3 days on the trot of doing it. Not sure if any of you guys have joined in with my crusade either.
Yeah, no, making your bed is amazing. Like it's like, so for me, your room isn't clean unless your bed is made, and what the extra icing on top is like vacuuming your floor. So, and my wife gets mad because I'll literally make up the bed like while she's still in it. Like I'll just make up my side. And she's like, it's gonna get messed up anyway. I'm like, no, like just make your bed. So I completely agree with Joachim. And he's the only guy on YouTube whose hair I envy. So
what about this David Lafuente Ultimate Spider-Man haircut they've got going on?
Yeah, I don't need that one. I'm good on that. That would look terrible on my face.
It looks terrible on my face, to be fair, so I can't really blame you. This is a haircut I would definitely wish on my worst enemy. Like, that's a phrase that always... everybody who says, oh, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy, I'm like, how nice is your worst enemy? Like, my worst enemy, like, still sometimes just comes into my life and annoys me. Like, he's an actual Green Goblin. Like, so there is nothing that I don't wish on him.
Yeah, who is my worst enemy? I haven't had a worst enemy since high school, and
mine is from high school, so it still counts.
No. Yeah, me and my high school worst enemy, we're the best of friends now. We're in a group chat together. So,
does he know that he was your worst enemy, or is this how he finds out if he watches this?
It was mutual. It was mutual. We fought over a girl. It was dumb. I won, but it was dumb, and now neither of us could care less where this girl is in life. We're both happily married, and we can go back to being best friends. And so that's what happened.
That's pretty cool. I like that. I like that as a happy ending to it. Whereas mine's just like, I'm sitting in a dark room right now, going, "Still hate that guy. Still hate him."
That was funny.
How about you, Adam? Where you at on the worst enemies?
I don't know if I've got an enemy. Any. I must do. I'm the poor guy who's got probably tons of enemies and is too oblivious to even know about it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have the best memory in the world. I can't remember if I've told you this or not, but I've got a really bad memory. And so I probably, as soon as you become an enemy to me, I've probably just written you out of my entire brain. So that's kind of how my brain works. So,
Adam's gonna get a letter in the mail tomorrow when like all the letters are gonna be like magazine cutouts, like
or like in Scott Pilgrim. In Scott Pilgrim, when he sent him a letter, and Scott's like, "This is boring," and then like, I fucking love that film.
That's me. Yeah,
that is
Scott
great.
Pilgrim's. I want Scott Pilgrim to have another resurgence because that must be one of the best comic book movies.
Yeah,
by far.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't read the whole comic. I've read like the first two of the 6-volume trade thingies, but I loved the film. Like, I couldn't get through the comic. I will give it another go though. I just bought them in color. I think that's going to make a big difference for me. But yeah, the film, I loved it. Edgar Wright though, I love Edgar Wright.
Baby Driver's just come on Netflix over here. It's probably been on US Netflix for years. We've like our Netflix is awful compared to yours. Like,
oh yeah,
you guys.
What's terrible is like I hate Netflix, like because you log into Netflix and Netflix has like 10 million subgenres. It'll be like slow burn, steamy romance, and it's like, what is this? And you have to scroll and scroll and scroll forever until you find something you want to watch. And I'm just not good at making decisions like that. So I'll spend an hour scrolling, and it's like, well, now my TV time is done. So
the thing is, as well, they've made a feature to negate that, where it's like it's called Watch Something, where you click on it and it'll just put something random on based off what you've watched. But all you then do is scroll through the play somethings, like so you just at the same hurdle. If anything, it's slower because it has to load each title.
Yeah,
so, like it's trying to make a solution, and it's worse. But yeah,
let's put our whole library on shuffle. There you go. Next movie.
Or worse, it'll just be the next episode of a series that you're already watching. So it's like, no, I'm deliberately choosing to not watch that. Like, why are you showing me that?
Right.
I know that I could watch that.
It's the worst. My wife loves Netflix though. She'll binge watch anything. Like, and we stopped watching TV together because she'll watch like 10 episodes of a series in one sitting, and I'm like, I can't stay awake that long. So
yeah,
What's you been binging lately? Sorry, mate.
I was gonna say I'm a big binge watcher. That's all.
she's watching something called Call the Midwife
Oh
on
yeah.
Netflix, something like that. And then she'll go on Amazon and she watches like old reruns of Monk, which honestly is a funny show. It's like a detective show.
Okay.
But the detective has OCD and doesn't want to get dirty or anything. Like it's a funny show. It's very funny. But yeah, every time I wake up, there's like a new episode of that on. And it's like, what? So I just check out.
What have you been watching at the minute, or what have you recently binge watched, Adam?
Okay. Have you ever heard of a series called Dark? It's a German show.
Can't say
It's on Netflix. It's really good. If subtitles don't bother you, definitely check it out. It is so I'm 2 series into it. It's 3 in total, and that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
But like it's like a time travel thriller kind of thing. It's so well done. Like honestly, I bet the only reason it's not blew up and massive is because it's German and requires subtitles. Like honestly, it's so good. Production value is insane, and it's really clever. Just that's all I say. It's time travel, which is I love time travel stories, and it's done well. So anyone who's interested in time travel, sci-fi type stuff, go check out Dark. It's really addictive. Actually, it's good.
I read so many books that I get mad if I have to read in my movies too. It's like, well, I wanted to just watch something. Now I've got to like really watch it.
Yeah, true.
I just finished watching something that it's very clear the person who wrote it watched Breaking Bad the night before and went, I can do that. And then just it's like if I tried to write Breaking Bad. It's called Good Girls, and it's not a bad show. It's just poorly written. It's entertaining, but it's one of them films you think about literally anything in it, and it makes no sense. So there's these 3 women. I think they're all mums, if I remember correctly. One's got like a kid that needs a new kidney. One's bored. Like it's really not balanced proportionally and the motivations. But they rob this supermarket. But then it turns out that the supermarket was money laundering for this like drug kingpin. So they end up doing stuff for him. But I've never seen a group of characters get themselves into more situations that they don't want to be in and then complain about the situation that they're in, have an easy solution to get out of it, but never take that solution. Like there's this guy, if you literally just killed this one guy, their entire life would be better. And they've proven that they could kill people and get away with it. Kill this one guy, your problem solved. But it's 4 seasons later, and like, how can we kill him? And it's so dumb. Whereas Breaking Bad's like, oh, okay, well, you know, Jesse must be wondering where this cigarette is. Okay, so a season later, we talk about this cigarette, and it's really thought out every plot. This is just like, look, I don't know why I wrote the last episode. Just make something exciting. And it is. It's just dumb. So that's what I'm watching at the minute. It's so stupid. See, even Adam's bored of it already.
Yeah, boring.
It's so...
So I'm looking at Amazon UK about this the Star Wars Omnibus. I didn't realize this. Maybe I'm just spoiled as an American. I just thought the US dollar was the most powerful currency ever. But that's currently not the case. So like the British pound is more than the American dollar. So that comes out the 80, or it's gonna be like 95 UK, or was it pounds and sterlings?
Yeah, if you really want to sound British, you have to say quid.
Quid? What is a quid? Is that a pound?
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's just a word that we say. So I don't know if you've got like I don't know if you've got another word for dollar, but we say quid instead of pound. Like it's 80 quid.
That makes sense. So we have bucks. We call it dollar. Yeah, we'll say it's $80, and a buck is $1. But then we have a lot of slang for money because Americans think they're rich, even though they're all poor. And so we've got like we got bucks,
cheese.
We got cheese. We got bread. You know,
anything to do with pizza.
Right. We got dough. Yeah. to bread, cheese, dough. If you've got 100, you call that a buck too. Like a buck can be $1 or $100. If you got $1,000, you can call that a stack or a rack, right? Right. But I mean, this is all just if you listen to rappers. So
I'm gonna use them in conversation.
Yeah,
because like I heard somebody in an American TV show say that something was butt, like, oh, that's butt, and I was like, that makes no sense over here. I'm gonna say that all the like. I'm the type of person, if I know something doesn't make sense, that's now my new word. I can't not say it. Like,
oh yeah, that's butt. Like what?
Yeah.
Like that. Like that's bad. Like nobody says that. I've heard that's booty though, and that's like the same thing.
That's now my new word as well. Huge shout out to Clarence, who's in the chat today. He was one of the channels that got me started into YouTube. So huge respect.
I've seen one of Clarence's videos, at least one of them. So shout out to you, Clarence. All I can think about is 8 Mile though right now. He's a gangster. His real name is Clarence.
I love that movie.
It's okay, Clarence. You don't have to be a gangster. I promise. It's not what it's cracked up to be.
That's actually Anthony Mackie as well.
I was going to say, he became Captain America.
So. Yeah. Captain America.
Private school gets you places, you know. So
yeah. From Cranbrook to Captain America. That's great.
I really annoyed someone at work once. Like I was doing it intentionally because that's just who I am. Unfortunately, I'm one of them people. I'm a gremlin. But I said that 8 Mile is just a rap ripoff of Coyote Ugly. It's and like it was really winding this person up, and I was doing my hardest to keep a straight face, and I was like, yeah, but 8 Mile's just about one artist trying to get out of a bad situation and make one song that ends up becoming the soundtrack for that movie. And I was like, 8 Mile is about one person trying to create one song to get out of a bad situation that also ends up being the soundtrack to that movie. And I was like, do you know when you sit there like this? Because like the entire time you just want to start wetting yourself, and it's like, oh my God. They were getting so annoyed at me.
See, I've never seen Coyote Ugly, but when I think about the commercial, I can totally see it being a ripoff of 8 Mile or vice versa. I could see that.
Don't watch it. Like it's a cult. It's a cult. I like it because, like, do you know when YouTubers first started to try to get into boxing and they'd call out like Canelo Alvarez, and it's like, know your limits. Like, don't try and take on the world champion. Like, I started doing that to people in my gym. Like somebody that's like, do you know Eddie Hall? Like the world's strongest man, Eddie Hall. I kept getting in his face, and I was like, I want to fight you. Like, I don't know why. I don't know what in my head was telling me this was a good idea. And like, to try and sound tough, I kept saying, you're going to end up calling me the Moonlight. And they're like, why? I was like, you're going to keep calling me the Moonlight. And I was like, and they were like, why? Because of that weird, like, you know, film that won the Oscars. It's all about like homoeroticism. And I was like, oh shit, I should have thought about this one. Like, that's realism. I was like, no, you're going to call me Moonlight because you can't fight me. But it's such an obscure reference that they never knew what I was talking about. So just
yeah, so, when you say Moonlight, all I think about is that movie. I've never even seen that movie, but yeah, that's good job, Matt. Marcus.
Yeah, I didn't get the fight either. He's fighting Thor Bjornsson as well, so he's done much better than me. Good on him. Like, that's great. Legit, the entire time I'm standing there, I'm like, please don't say yes. Please don't agree to this fight. I'm like, whatever you do, please do not say you'll fight me. Like,
Barath says, isn't a rack, doesn't that equal boobs? Yes. So here's the thing about, well, I mean, you guys know this about the English language. There's so many words that like mean other words depending on how you say it. Like present or present, right? It's the same word. That's so dumb, but I mean, it's completely different things. So yeah, a rack could be boobs. A rack could refer to lamb, or a rack is $1,000. So,
would you rather it be the boobs or the $1,000? That's a tough question.
I would absolutely rather the $1,000.
It depends whose boobs. I mean,
yeah, no.
Yeah, maybe more than £1,000 gone into them. Like, but just to make it more confusing for you, these are other different words for pound. So we've got pound, quid, 2 bob, or keeps.
So is 1 bob 50 cents, or
SEC, if you could please help us out in the chat.
A bob
that'd
is
be
a
great.
quid, right? So 2 bob is 2 quid, as far as my math goes. But I could be completely wrong. You can fact check me on that one. I don't know.
What is a keeps?
I've never heard of a keeps.
Yeah, me neither. I'm assuming SEC is a knowledgeable guy, so I'm assuming that it is an actual. I'm in Stoke. We don't get much outside interference. We're waiting for the word on Brexit any day now as well. So
10 bob is 50p. That's not. Is that right? Sorry, Marvel Bab chiming in here.
Clarence just wanted to say that he appreciates the kind words. He's sub to yourself, BJ, and he wanted you to keep up the awesome work. I know you've got quite a lot of plans as well for the future. You've got your own show tomorrow, the Hangout. It is tomorrow, isn't it? I've got my days right.
The Hangout is tomorrow. And if either of you want to join, you can. It goes on about 30 minutes before this scheduled time. So,
yeah.
But yeah, the Hangout is just where I hang out and talk about whatever. It's this, but with an American black guy and no one else. So
less alcohol.
Yeah, there's a lot less alcohol. I drink coffee instead. So you get similar results, I guess. But yeah, the Hangout is I'm supposed to be doing it weekly. When I conceived of this, it was supposed to be my weekly live stream that I do on Saturdays instead of like editing a video and putting that video out and getting 10 views, because that's what happens on Saturdays. But yeah, so the Hangout is just come on live, talk about stuff. What I plan to do eventually is pre-record interviews with creators and premiere them on the Hangout. So I've got some pretty cool interviews that I'm working on lining up. Static is re-releasing next month. They're relaunching Static. So I'm hoping to get one of the creators of that series on the show. But yeah, so tomorrow there's no one stopping by unless one of these fine gentlemen would like to. What I'll probably do is just send out a StreamYard link just with no context to anyone. And so we'll all be surprised by who decides to click on the link and show up for the live stream.
It's just like, wow, Todd McFarlane's on this stream.
All right. Todd McFarlane created a spawn. Give me a second. I got some prizes that I'll show you guys.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Whilst he's so I don't sound stupid.
Whilst he's doing this, I know obviously I'm working tomorrow, so I'll have to join for a later one. But the Nerd Herd comic book quiz is filming tomorrow, and you're featuring on it, aren't you, Comic Bone?
It's not live, but it is filming tomorrow. But let's see, I might be able to make it along. Yeah. Again, I've had a few beers, so I'm not very good at maths, but I'll figure it out, and maybe I can join in. But we'll see.
So, thanks to the magic of the internet, Marcus and I both got sponsored by the same dude. So, thanks to Organic Price Books, I've got this deluxe edition of Criminal Volume 1. And that's going to be given away live to anyone, one lucky person who joins the stream. As long as you're subscribed to the channel, you'll be eligible to win this, but you have to be on the live stream to win it. This is the Amazing Spider-Man Omnibus by Roger Stern, this beautiful DM variant with the cover of Amazing Spider-Man 245. This one, as you can see, is brand new. It's sealed and shiny and whatnot. That is
condition as well.
Yeah, because it came packed in enough bubble wrap to wrap me up.
Did you headbutt it though?
I did not headbutt it.
I
didn't headbutt it. But this came in a full-size diamond box, like this and like 2 other books. So that was funny. Actually, this is in a haul video. This is in one of my most recent haul videos. But anyway, thanks to Organic Price Books, somebody who's in my Facebook group, the K Squad, is going to win this. I do like the omnibus giveaway for my top contributors. So over the rolling 1 month period leading up to the Hangout. So that's going to be fun because I only opened that drawing up to 20 people. So it'll be fun to see who wins that. But yeah, so join me on the Hangout tomorrow at 1 p.m. US, which is what, 17 your time?
Yes.
5 p.m.
Maybe. Sounds
it's
about right.
8 o'clock now in the evening.
Is it 8 o'clock in your time?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, 10 past, yeah.
Oh. What time did we start your time?
We started at 6:30 in the evening.
Okay. So it would just be 6 in the evening tomorrow.
Okay.
Wait, was that half after 6 or half before 6?
Half after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it will be 6 on the hour tomorrow, UK
Cool.
time.
Here's a very good question that, as well, at the end, we'll talk about how you can join the K Squad. You just have to search the K Squad on Facebook. I'm part of the group as well. It's got a really good vibe to it.
You don't. So if you the best way to go to join the K Squad is just to go to bjkicks.link/K Squad. There's no dash or anything, just K and then squad. Yeah, but if you go to my channel or if you go to my Instagram and you see the link in the bio, just tap that. It'll get you in. You have to tell us who your favorite comic character is, though, or else you won't get let into the group.
That's a
And
tough
if you
one.
don't say Daredevil, you don't get let into the group.
Yeah.
That's so false.
I'll joke. There'd be no members in mine because nobody said the same as me. I'm like, no, I don't want this now.
The two most popular answers to that one are Batman and Spider-Man. That's what I see the most often.
They are my two favorite characters, actually. Probably.
For me, it's Batman, Wolverine, and then Spider-Man. But I mean, they all have animated series in common. So,
well, that's kind of where it comes from for me. Is the Batman animated series and the Spider-Man animated series are like my two as a kid. So yeah.
I think I put the X-Men series over Spider-Man, but I think Spider-Man Spider-Man has way more replay value than the old X-Men.
The soundtrack to X-Men is always going to be the best. So,
oh, man, the intro. Oh my god, yeah.
Oh, we didn't
answer
answer this
great question. Speaking of favorites and stuff like that, if you had to choose one run or graphic novel by any creator is the only one that you could read for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Ooh,
that's a very difficult question. I'm not going to lie.
That is rough.
So you can't read anything else but that one series by that one creator. So you can't even say like, oh, I'll read X-Men and get so many years worth of X-Men. You'd have to choose like Claremont or Astonishing.
Yeah, that's basically, you either pick one omnibus. Maybe you do cheat and just say Chris Claremont's X-Men, but I feel like that falls off at some point. It's got to.
I'd go Ultimate Spider-Man by Bendis because you can get the entire first run with Peter Parker, then also the Miles Morales, and you're not breaking any rules there. It's all part of the same run. So that's what I'd go with. And it's great. Ultimate Spider-Man doesn't really drop off in the same way that you're saying like, oh, Claremont's must have a drop-off point. Ultimate Spider-Man, there's definitely points that aren't as good as others, but there's no real drop in quality. Even like the Clone Saga, which is the part that I didn't enjoy the most, was still really good. So that's what I'd go with.
Let's see. I haven't read it. I just got that omnibus.
Yeah.
Like the week before they solicited the new printing. So
yeah. I saw that. You got like 3 omnibuses at once, didn't you? And that was one of them. And I was like, I'm really glad I got that one.
And then the next day, I think. It was crazy. But if I'm picking just off of stuff that I've actually read, I'm probably going to go with the Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale Batman omnibus. Like, I love it.
I was nearly going to say that myself. It's great run.
Yeah, like I've read the first 2 volumes of Grant Morrison, and it's great. Like, it's really good because it pulls so much from like all of Batman's other history. It's long, it's complex. It takes you. It's a thrill ride, but the Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale is just like everything that I've ever loved about Batman in one book. And the art is like kind of wonky. Like I got into Batman through reading Hush, and it's such a different vibe than like Jim Lee action hero stuff, but it fits. Like, Batman is always the scariest thing on the page. Like, I can go on and on about the Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale run. So that's probably going to be what I would pick.
That's a good pick.
So I mean, like I was on the fence between that and another one. So because you picked that, I'll go for the other one that I was thinking. Which for me, Dan Slott's Spider-Man. So not just Dan Slott, I guess. Can I cheat a bit and go from just Brand New Day to the end of Dan Slott? And then
I think we have to give some leeway if it's for the rest of your life. Like,
exactly. So
I feel like I have to be a bit kind.
yeah, just I'll start a brand new day because I mean that's where Dan Slott was involved. It was the Spidey Brain Trust back then, so it was like rotating writers. But that was I think literally the first issue after in Brand New Day was written by Dan Slott. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was. It was like the Swing Shift special or something like that. From there onwards till the end of Dan Slott, which I haven't actually read the very last bit, but up until the bits I've read, I loved it. And so if I'm going to pick a run, that's a nice, decent chunk, and it's got a lot of great stuff in there. So I'll have that as mine.
I hope that gets Omnibus soon. Like, especially with us having JMS, the next logical step, it has to be Dan Slott.
There's just a lot. There's so much because they were double shipping it back at the very start of that. It was coming out every 2 weeks rather than every month. So there's a lot to cover. And that's my worry, is that, I don't know, it's a bit intimidating probably to kind of like from a sales perspective of how many people are going to buy that kind of like long-term run in omnibuses. I don't know. Sure, Marvel could swing it, and like people are going omnibus crazy at the minute, so now's the time to do it. I think anyway. I think it's overdue, but whatever.
I just saw a group that was like, "What about a group for you, Marcus?" We have got the Reddit still. I do keep intending to try and bolster that up a bit, but it's just like sometimes, I between like doing videos, having my full-time job, having like obligations to my family, to my girlfriend, trying to read books, to do reviews as well, connecting with my friends, and then trying to find time to reply to comments on the videos. It's just a bit difficult. I was hoping like the Reddit would be something that, more people could come together and collectively use, because, I thought Reddit was something that wasn't really buzzing in terms of having a comic or like omnibus vibe, really. So I'm going to try and pick that back up. So we do have a Reddit group, which is the Maddogg comic community. But in terms of like Facebook groups, the K Squad is a great group. Like, there's no like bullshitting or anybody trying, throw the weight about. It's just people coming together wanting to talk about comics. And you did quite an interesting, I'll call it an initiative. I don't know what the correct word is, so forgive me for that. But you did like the blank cover initiative. I'm going to call it. Like, I don't know if you want to explain a bit more.
Yeah, so we did the blank cover. The name needs work, but it was the blank cover fan art comic swap, where basically if you were in the US, which I don't think we really limited it. That's just how it stacked up. But and I can't take credit for this idea. What's so great about the K Squad is the people in it like just want to make it a fun place. So two things that have come out of the K Squad are, one, the fan art cover swap, where we all just bought blank covers, drew on them, and then Secret Santa style mailed them out to other members of the group. So the cover that I drew, I found a blank Superman #1 by Bendis, and I drew Superman sitting in the Fortress of Solitude reading a Batman comic saying, "I wish I was as cool as that guy." So
nice.
But yeah, and the one I got back was Doctor Strange, and Doctor Strange is reaching through a portal to scratch his own back, and I was like,
I
that
love
is
that.
amazing.
Yeah,
that was great.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we've got the K Squad, we got the fan art cover swap, and then we've got the K Squad book club, which the book club was started by Seth. Oh, and I should say the cover swap was a guy named Mario's idea, Mr. Mario. But yeah, the book club, we meet once a month and we read a different story and we come together and talk about it on Google Hangouts. So we actually have a meeting tonight in just over 3 hours. We're going to meet and talk about an independent series called Grendel, Kentucky, which has artwork by Tommy Lee Edwards. It's written by Jeff Bukowski. But it's a really cool book about this family who grows marijuana in like some middle of nowhere town in Kentucky, and that's kind of what their whole economy is based on. There's like one of the main characters, their dad dies at the beginning of the book, and they're kind of investigating it because it sounds fishy. And not to spoil anything, but they find out that there's like monsters living in this little town that they live in. And so, but it's got a motorcycle gang and all this crazy stuff. Anyway, we're gonna be talking about that book tonight in about 3 hours. So yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna tell people to only join my group, but I do feel like if you're a comic fan, you're missing out if you're not also in the K Squad. We don't do a bunch of negativity. I know a lot of Facebook groups just end up being like people promoting videos or like selling stuff. We don't do a lot of that there, although there is some of that, but most of it is just like I read single issues. And so whenever I read a single issue, I'll put like a little mini review in the K Squad. And so people will post their hauls and their own little reviews of stories. It's just a great place to be if you actually read comics and enjoy them. So
like I can't recommend it enough. So I would recommend everybody check it out. Make sure you've got your favorite characters at the ready, though, like to not delay the process. I saw a great question here from Clarence, and I'm just going to step up for 2 seconds just whilst you guys have first grabs of it.
He's throwing us under the bus and then making a run. This is a tough question.
I'm going to listen to your answers and then just say them as if they're my own. I'm going to go into another room, listen, come back.
And 5 as well. There's so many. I feel like the Star Wars stuff is going to get a lot of love from me just because I can't say no to anything Star Wars in Omnibus. So there's 3 of them. I'll take those as 3 easy picks. And I need a minute to think about the rest. Over to you, BJ.
All right. So Dr. Afro was my first Star Wars Omnibus. But the others I'll be collecting really just for the covers. But I plan, hopefully they're good standalone stories. I think I'm most excited as far as Star Wars stuff goes, is for that Darth Vader. Is it Charles Soule, Darth Vader, that's getting the Omnibus? Yeah. So I mean, I just know that the main series, they kind of take place between movies. So I'm glad that I don't have to like read a different Darth Vader before I can read this one. So that'll be cool. That'll probably be the first one I actually read. I'm looking forward to, so I'm looking forward to that one. Wolverine Volume 2 is coming out. Looking forward to that. I'm going to get the what else am I gonna get? The Superman by Tomasi that comes out like next week. I'm getting that, and I'm excited about that one. Let's see what else is going on.
I don't know why, but I've already got it. Like it comes out next week. Apparently, I don't know.
So
I've been waiting for this for a long time. Like I haven't read Super Sons yet because I was waiting to read this first. So,
and see, I've been reading Super Sons. Super Sons is like the book that I read to cleanse my palate when I'm annoyed with other stories. And it's just always great. I love Super Sons, and that's why I'm getting that actually. But yeah, so. Yeah, Superman by Tomasi and Gleason. I'm excited about Batman by Snyder Volume 2. I actually didn't read Volume 1 because Volume 2 hadn't come out yet, and I didn't want to be mad when it was over. So, and then the Wolverine and the X-Men. I think that's probably my 5.
That for me is up there as well. I think that's one of my top 5 for sure. I've got the Wolverine Goes to Hell. I haven't got the other one, just the Wolverine by Jason Aaron one. So I hope that gets a reprint as well. So I can have the whole set. But Wolverine Goes to Hell is great though. Like it's got one of my favorite stories in is the Astonishing Spider-Man and Wolverine.
Oh yeah.
Just right at the start of that, it's very like just a cool little fun story with Spider-Man and Wolverine in it. It's great. I love it. But yeah, I can't think. So I've got the 3 Star Wars omnibuses, Wolverine and the X-Men. I need a 5th one, but I'm struggling.
The Hickman Fantastic Four, that's November, right?
Either that or December, I believe it is. It only recently went up for pre-order, but it's definitely end of the year.
I read the first 3 issues when we got off of our stream on Marvel Unlimited, and I'm enjoying it. So I'm excited for that one too. So I guess that might be the honorable mention there.
Was it an easy decision to make, or was it like the 5 in general? I mean, for the both of you.
Honestly, I just listed the 5 I could remember.
Yeah, there's so many coming out this year. I think for me, Star Wars, The Old Republic, Daredevil by Charles Soule, Ultimate Spider-Man reprint.
Oh, Daredevil, yeah.
There's too many. That's the problem. Like, I never thought I'd complain about that, but it's like, what do I want more than the others? Definitely, Daredevil would probably be my number 1 if I'm honest, because Daredevil's my favorite character, and I've collected so many of those omnibuses, and I've read a lot of Soule's work already, and it just looks great. I'd probably go with a lot of the Star Wars omnibuses if I'm honest, but it's the best. I went for all
3 just as an easy 3 out of 5. There's my 3 done. So yeah,
it's such a great time to be a collector, though.
Yeah.
Like, how have you guys found it sort of going from, just being a fan of the medium to then having a channel about the medium and sort of almost like, I know obviously we're not like top tier. Like, you'll probably be there next week. Let's not lie, BJ. Like, your growth's insane. So this time next week, if I'm like, hey, why is he not replying?
Let's not act like Marcus doesn't have a constant 1,000 subscriber lead on me. So
legit, it feels like in Gladiators. Like, you guys had Gladiators first, but when it's like you've literally only got 10 seconds and there's one thing in front of them, I'm just going to twist my ankle right before the end. Like,
that's funny. But yeah, it's been interesting. It's been an interesting year. Like, I started this channel in November because I found out we were having a baby. Right. So full disclosure, I was like, okay, well, if I start a channel now, I can probably monetize it before the baby gets here. And that way I can keep buying comics instead of just buying diapers. I mean, and we're still not quite paying for my comics with this channel yet, but it's been really cool. Like, just building the community and having more people to talk about comics with, like meeting guys like you and Adam. That's been the fun part about it, because I feel like I can share comics with other people now, as opposed to like going to work and people are like, oh, what'd you do this weekend? It's like, oh, I went to the comic shop. And they're like, okay, weirdo. So, that's been really cool. The only thing that I would say that's changed is, like, since I have a channel, I feel a need to buy more things. And I feel like I'm buying things faster than I can read them, and I don't like that. And so I'm trying to like kind of switch up my channel now, so there's less unboxings and hauls, and do like more reviews. Like, that's what I want. That's what I want the next half of the year to look like. And with my baby girl coming home, I think it'll be that way by choice anyway, or by force, I should say.
It's so weird, isn't it? Because it's like, for me, I kind of feel like, I don't know, I often feel like I don't have anything to say. Like, I only started this channel because we just entered lockdown for the first time, and my friend passed away literally the weekend before we got locked down, and I didn't really he was my training partner. He was the first person who seriously called me the Mad Dog, because I was like, no, I'm the Mad Dog, and he was like, okay, I believe you. He was a great guy, Ash, and I didn't want to, because the gyms had closed, I didn't know how to deal with that. So I was like, you know what? I need to do something productive. I need to do something creative. So I jumped into this, and I had no intentions I had no plans with it. I was like, to be fair, I'm still that way now. My mantra is kind of just focus on the next video. I always tell myself, and I'm not sure if any of you guys do, but I always say, you're only as good as your next video. Like, it doesn't matter if you've just had 50 great videos in a row that everybody's loved. If your next video is shit, that's all people are going to see when you come onto your channel, unfortunately. They're all going to be people who still stick around, but that's the first video that's on the channel. Mm-hmm. So I always just look at it that way, and I don't know, sometimes I do feel like a lot of pressure and stuff like that. And, you know, Joachim said something to me that he was like, because at first I fell into the trap. I'll just be 100% honest. I fell into the trap of, you know, wanting to just grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. Mm-hmm. And Joachim had like a private chat with me, and he says, "How many subscribers do you need to be happy?" And as soon as he asked me that, I was like, "I don't fucking know." And I was like, "You know what? It's the videos." So, like, since the beginning of this year, I've literally just been focusing on the next video. That's why I keep talking about it. But this Jim Lee video, my soul has gone into this video. If this video is shit, I'm literally going to sit in front of my computer and cry, because the script for this one, the editing for this one, I've tried to step everything up, but that's kind of the way that I've seen it. That I feel like it's great because I've been allowed to express myself in a way that I never could, because nobody around me really reads comics. So it's been amazing to have that voice, but at the same time, it's kind of like there's a bit of pressure to like I don't fact check anything in my videos, as you've probably seen.
Mm-hmm.
But all of a sudden there is, if you say something wrong, everyone's on your back, and it's like it's almost as if I wasn't media trained for that. So I don't really know how to handle a lot of that. I'm still just a dude in his bedroom. Like that's why I'm saying you're 100% going to overtake me, because you understand YouTube. I don't fucking know what I'm doing one video to the next. Like, it scares the shit out of me.
I do have a general understanding of YouTube, but YouTube changes, right? And to be real, nobody asked me anything about this, but YouTube is really just a reflection of people, right? And like, so to like grow on YouTube in mass, you have to do things that people in mass are attracted to. And we're in comic books, like, so most people aren't going to be attracted to the things that we're attracted to, right? And I think that's why the haul videos do so great, not because people care about the stories, but because it's like, ooh, this guy spent a lot of money. And I'm like, that type of thinking, that behavior, I think is toxic, right? And it's like, but you can't deny that it gets you views and it gets you subscribers and so on. But I think for me, to keep my sanity, I just have to like focus on the positivity, right? Because like you said, we're in a community where people can be like just complete jerks, like, to put it plainly, right? Like, I remember seeing the backlash that you got on your sponsor video, and I don't even know why there was backlash. Like, I don't get it. Maybe just because I'm American and I don't know like what the disconnect was. But I'm like, oh, this is a funny little commercial. Like, that's cool. Because, you know, when I unloaded, when I was like, oh, I have a sponsor, it was just, hey, here's a sponsor, you know? But so for me, what I do is I try to focus on positivity, right? Like, if I'm going to be on YouTube, because all those things you listed, I have those too. Like, right now I have a very short window where I don't have to go to my full-time job because I just had a baby. But in about 3 weeks, I have to go to work every day. And so it's like, if I'm going to work all day and then get off work and then turn a camera on and talk about stuff and then spend more hours editing and uploading, and if I'm going to do that every day, it's going to have to be about stuff that I love.
Yeah. Because
if not, then it's not worth the time away from family. It's not worth the lack of sleep and so on. I mean, there is incentive to grow, just because, you know, we want to be able to do more things. You want to be able to, I want to take my kids to Disney World. I want to like buy a bigger house so they can play in the backyard. Like, I have goals that are financial, but my life isn't driven by finances. Right. So I say all that to say, yeah, YouTube is cool, but like, just do what you enjoy doing. And I wouldn't worry about the rest, to be honest with you. Like, you've already gotten monetized. You hit that milestone. Your videos get a good amount of views, and you're a great person. It's okay to stop at that, right? Like, and we've seen like other channels grow to like ridiculous heights, and there's a fair amount of criticism for those channels once they get there. There's going to be criticism whether you've got 4 subscribers or 4 million. So you might as well do what you love and just let the rest come how it's going to come. So there we go. There was our sappy inspirational moment.
I feel like it's Adam's turn now as well. Like, we've both given like our side of it. And I know for yourself, Adam, like, obviously stop me if I'm misquoting, but here's a comment that I can easily agree with as well.
Yes.
Like, great voice.
Thanks. You guys put so much on my voice, but I appreciate it. If somebody's got a job out there for me to use my voice to do something, let me know, because people say this often enough for me to have to take it seriously.
Well, apparently I can voice Batman, so I mean, the sky's the limit for you then, right? Like,
that is great. The problem is I don't have any characters. It's just this is the voice.
someone needs to create a character for you, and then it can work.
That's cool. But yeah, how do you feel about being a YouTuber as opposed to just a comic fan?
I never intended to get into this, probably like most people that have a channel these days. Like I don't really even know why I did it. I think probably talking to you, Marcus, was the real thing. I think you just assumed I would do a video one day, and I was like, oh, he thinks I'm going to do a video about this thing that I was talking to him about.
You.
Oh, I better do a video then. So I did a video, and it was like, oh, now I've got a channel. Okay. So thank you, Marcus. And yeah, I don't know. Like for me, it's the same as kind of what you guys are saying. Like, it's just nice to have people to talk to about stuff like this that, like, I don't have friends that read. So, you know, being able to connect with people who read the stuff I read is great. Like, that's probably the biggest thing for me. I don't think you need a channel to do that, though. I mean, a lot of the guys in the chat probably agree that, you know, just hanging around and viewing channels, like I used to watch the Omnidog stream every week religiously, to the point where it was affecting my sleep pattern too much, because it's the time of day that it happens. So it was like every weekend I'd be there at like 1 or 2 in the morning going, right, it's time for Omnidog. So I just couldn't keep it up, but I do want to check in occasionally with that still. But you know, just being part of that community is great, and that for me is what it's about, like more than the subscribers or the viewers or whatever. Like, I hope my videos are interesting to some people, but it's not the end of the world if not. And what I want to do, kind of like you're saying, BJ, is like focus less on the buying and the hauls. Like, I'll still do that because I think some people like getting reminders of what's out, and, you know, oh, that's a book I didn't really know was out. Okay, cool. I might check it out. But for me, I want to focus on like the reviewing and the content and just talking about books. So that's kind of what I'm going to try and do going forward. I've got some upcoming stuff lined up that is more about that, talking about books, reviewing books, and yeah, getting a good discussion going on stuff. So yeah, that's kind of what I like about being on YouTube, really. So
Adam, you were the one that did the video about stretching spines the right way, right? Wasn't
I wouldn't say right way. That's just how I do it. That's a disclaimer.
I mean, it seemed very helpful. So, Marcus, when you open up your Batman Omni, I need to see for myself if the binding is any different.
I mean,
so I have to open a book. That
you gotta do it.
Take that shrink wrap off, mate. And I know how much you hate that, but
no, it's just because I might be moving soon, so I have to. I keep them in the cellophane for now, just because when I'm moving, I don't want to like rip the dust jackets and moving them out. That's the only reason I keep mine in the cellophane.
No, I have the same thing going on right now, but like after I don't know if you guys saw my video about the Uncanny X-Men Volume 4, but
did that come damaged a little bit? Was that Volume 2?
Volume 4 for me. Yeah, it was Volume 4 for me that came damaged. I mean, just everything looked great. It was in the shrink wrap, nice sharp corners, everything's great. And then in the middle of the book, there's like 3, or I think it amounted to like 6 pages of the book that has had like a hole punched in them somehow. Like, I'm like, and so after that, I'm like, I have to open everything.
Yeah.
But we're about to move, and I don't want to get my stuff damaged either. So I'll keep it in plastic. Anything that's not already open.
You see some horror stories as well. Like I can't remember which book it was, but in one of the groups, I think it might be in X-Men by Jim Lee Volume 1, but the entire book was upside down. So you'd open the front cover and it was the back page.
Wow.
And I'm like, how does that even, but to me, I'm like, can't you just put the dust jacket on the other side and never know to yourself?
Well, you could, but I mean, when you read it, you're going to read it with the dust jacket off. Yeah.
Like, I don't get people who do read them with them on. I just wanted to highlight this comment because you made a video quite recently about, you know, because everybody always said to me, like, the first bit of time on YouTube's the most difficult, that like sort of getting out the gate.
Yeah.
And, you know, Captain Mikasu's saying like he has no idea what to start except to do collection and hauls. I'm sure we've all got a different opinion on this question, which kind of highlights what my opinion would be, that listen to yourself when it comes to the start of your channel in terms of what content you want to make.
Yeah. Listen, I mean, there's obviously collections and hauls tend to perform well because people are looking for stuff like that. But what gets you success on YouTube is what keeps you successful on YouTube as well. And so if you start off by doing content that you don't really want to keep doing, what you find out is you're going to set a trap for yourself where it's like, okay, the only videos that do well on my channel are hauls and collection videos. And so if you rely on your channel for money, then you have to keep doing that type of stuff, right? Like we're seeing with the bigger channels now, like I don't even know if you guys follow like Comic Pop and Comic Storian, right? But these channels where they have, you know, these huge followings and they do multiple different types of shows, what they're finding is that YouTube is like kind of dinging their channels because they'll have one video that does really, really well and another video that does like really poorly. And then if you have a video that does really poorly, a lot of the way YouTube recommends specifically comic related videos is based on your performance on the last one. So like, for example, you guys know I do daily content. I try to do daily content. And when I stopped for 1 week, literally just 7 days when my daughter was born, and my channel viewership and the money dropped by like 35% and stayed low for like almost 3 weeks after. Like it's just now kind of getting back to normal levels. So I say that to say whatever you do to find success on YouTube, you have to keep it up. So my advice for you is to start wherever you want your channel to be. Like start with what you like talking about. And that's going to be disheartening because chances are what you like to talk about, most people aren't going to be interested in. Right. So like I've got reviews on my channel of books that I really enjoyed. I spent an hour talking with MJ Comics about Venom, and that video didn't perform well. I loved making the video. It made me happy. I made a new friend and we talked about a great story, but it didn't get the viewership that I would need to sustain the channel financially. So what you make is going to depend on what your goal is. For me, I want to have fun on YouTube, but I also want to kind of find, or I want to, at the very least, fund my hobby so that I can keep having a hobby. Because as of right now, if I don't bring in extra money, I just don't get comic books. That's how that works. But for other people, maybe you have a full-time job that you love, right? Because everybody's not like, oh, I hate my job. So if you have a channel or you have a job that you love and it pays you well, and you just like doing YouTube just because, then make whatever video you want.
I 100% agree with that. Unfortunately, I am in the bracket that does not like the job. But the thing is as well, my 2 bits of advice, well, my 3 would firstly be don't listen to me because I don't know what I'm doing. I still don't know what I'm doing. But the other 2 bits of advice, if you're going to ignore that first bit, the first one would be don't go into YouTube thinking it's going to be a get-rich-quick scheme because you're going to put so much time and effort in. And you know what? It might be your first 10 videos. Nobody watches any of them. It might be. It could be your first 50 videos. YouTube, to me, is kind of like, do you know those coin pusher machines where you put a 2 pence in and you just hope that occasionally it's going to push more 2 pences to you, but you just put more 2 pences in and occasionally you might get one that comes out. Do it because you enjoy the thrill of watching that 2 pence go in and possibly giving you something out rather than thinking that it's going to give you that windfall. And I heard something recently that stuck with me because I know we spoke about this when we were sort of behind the scenes last time, but I think of videos in 2 different types. Mm-hmm. And to be a bit grotesque and a bit risque, there's growers and there's showers. Mm-hmm. So your shows are your videos that might do well out the gate, like your hauls, your whale watch, other stuff that people will want to watch then and there. But if you're being honest, nobody's going to watch April haul in August.
Correct.
Showers, for me, are stuff like who is, where to start, and reviews, which out the gate, not very many people are interested. There is still people who are interested in, and I appreciate that, but you're not really... For a review in particular, somebody has to either be interested in that book or read it themselves and want to hear somebody talk about it more. Right. So that's kind of the way that I look at it. So don't judge a video on how it does in the first 24 hours, because my Invincible video, top 15 best Invincible fights, out the gate, I think after a day, it got 150 views. But as soon as that show came round, like that, and it's not about the views. I really wanted to make a video just talking about all the great fights in Invincible. So even when it debuted 10 out of 10 in terms of like 10th lowest views out of the last 10, I could not give less of a shit because I got to talk about Invincible. But, you know, if I was somebody that was just looking at the numbers, that video would have been a failure. But then a year later, it isn't. So try not to get too disheartened. You have to put a lot more time in it first than you'll get back out of it. So in the same way that BJ is saying, to sort of paraphrase, find the identity of your channel straight away. Well, not straight away, but figure out what you want your channel to be. And it ties into that. Enjoy what your channel is, because it might just be its own thing, or it could be something bigger. So first and foremost, enjoy absolutely everything that you do. Don't trend jack just because you think trend jacking is going to be the way you're going to go about it, because I thought I was trend jacking with Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and that video did not do that well. So do what you love in the same way. That's what your vibe's been about from day one, BJ, to be fair. So I'm kind of just saying what he says. So
I mean, it's so for full transparency, just so I've got a channel with we're coming up on 2,400 subs. I put out a video literally every day, like including Sundays, like every day. And as of right now, my channel is bringing in about $90 a month, which would be what, 80 quid is what we're calling it now. But so it's like, I don't make my YouTube videos for the money. I mean, I did say I want to support my hobby, and that is part of it, but I don't go as hard as I do because of the money. I go as hard as I do because it's just a challenge to myself. And especially with a baby in the hospital, it's one of those things that is like, okay, I released a video today, so today was normal, because nothing else in life goes as planned right now. And I think that's part of where the yo, what's up, Omar? But I think that's where it lands, basically. Like, you got to do what you love doing, because there's really nothing that's going to keep you into it. I've started businesses before. I've started channels before. I was a whole photographer. Like, I was a wedding photographer, getting paid like, you know, a couple $1,000s for like a weekend of work. But I absolutely hated the work. So it's like, you gotta do what's fun. You gotta do what you enjoy. And that's really all I could say. I mean, if you want tips on how to grow on YouTube, like, there's plenty of places to look for that. There's a lot of things you can do. There's the search engine optimization, and it really comes down to making the right video at the right time is really what it comes down to, or optimizing your video so that when the right time comes, you're still found. That's what happened with, you know, Marcus and the Invincible video. Like,
Thank you, God.
Right. I did a review of Naomi season 1, the book, but chances are when Naomi season 1, the TV show, comes out, that video will do the same type of thing. But yeah, just make stuff that you would want to watch yourself. Like, that's part of why I highlight the stories that I do. Like, I talk about Milestone Comics so much because nobody else talks about it, and I love it. And so think about like what is unique to you and do that.
100%. Like I said, this video that on Jim Lee, I couldn't care if I'm the only person who watches it, because I just wanted to talk about how much I fucking love Jim Lee. And that's why I think you've got a great vibe to you, because you do your series, Why I Love, I almost called it What I Love then, but you do Why I Love, and you talk about different just aspects of the comic community. And looking at it from Adam's perspective as well, I really like that every time he brings out a video, it's because I know he wants to make that video. So it almost brings that excitement to it again. I just wanted to say hi to Mr. Omar. Thank you for being here.
What's up? That's my doppelganger, apparently. We look nothing alike, but we get mistaken for each other somehow.
That happens with me. I keep getting called the UK Omar. So
UK Omar.
We're all Omar. It's like in Fight Club.
I'm Spartacus.
Yeah. But yeah, Adam, I don't know if you wanted to sort of weigh in on sort of what we're talking about, because like I said, every time you bring out a video, it's because I know you want to make that video.
I mean, yeah, kind of like, I mean, I've got the regular ones, the hauls and stuff that I feel like they're kind of like obligatory almost, but I know they do well. I know a lot of people get more out of them than they might do me talking about a book. One of the videos I was most excited to ever do was a chat video that I did about the Incal with my mate Scott, who I met through the comment section in my channel. So like we became friends. We just started messaging. We read this book together. He's read it a bunch of times. It was my first time. We had a chat about it. Didn't do great as a view count video, but it's one of the favorite things I ever did. And funnily enough, Chris in the chat here, have you read Metabarons from Humanoids? I think that might be one of the ones that we might do next, as me and Scott, like we talked about at the end of that video about reading Metabarons next, because he loves it, and it's kind of a prequel to Incal, so we might go there next. But yeah, that's the kind of the way I kind of feel like I want to go with the channel. Like I know it might not do as well, but if it doesn't do as well, if I'm having fun making it, it doesn't really matter, as long as some people like it as well. Like if 5 people watch that video and they're like, oh my god, I'm gonna read the Incal now, like I've done my job. Like because so many people are out there going, oh, buy Uncanny X-Men Volume 1 Omnibus, buy Uncanny X-Men Volume 2 Omnibus. It's like no one needs to hear more of that. There's already tons of it out there. Maybe some people needed to be like, hey, the Incal, have you ever heard of that? Because it's maybe not as in the forefront of people's minds and stuff. So it really doesn't matter what you do as long as you love it. And then it's a win-win. You win if you enjoy making it. And if it does well as well, then you win again. Yeah. But if it doesn't, you've already won because you enjoyed making it. So that's, I think, the main thing. If you're going to get into this, you need to do what you love, because that's the only way to stay on top and make sure that you love what you're doing. Because otherwise you just get into the grind of it, and who wants to grind with the YouTube algorithm being such a black box that is probably a mystery to like the people who study it even the most? You know what I mean? Like that doesn't sound fun to me.
Right.
So.
I hate that when people ask for advice for YouTube, like all of a sudden we all sound like life coaches, and like and like we say like the most vague thing ever. But it's so true.
Do a video and also don't do a video.
Right. Maybe make a video about something like clouds, or relax, love yourself. Right. But it's so important. It's so important. Like I have a channel right now that has like over 20,000 subscribers. And when I tell you, every time I turn on the camera to make a video for that channel, as of late, it's like, I'm like, I don't want to do this right now. Right. And it's like that channel literally makes me 5 times the money that the BJ Kicks channel makes me. And it's like, I don't care. Like I would rather have my time back. And it's like, I loved that channel when I started. That channel was my baby. But, you know, you get in and out of certain things, and you got to keep doing what's best for you. Like if I'm doing things that I hate all the time, I'm not going to be in a good mood. My wife's going to hate me. My kids are going to hate me. Right. And then I'm going to hate me too. And it's just whack.
Yeah. Yeah. First and foremost, like there's a comment here that sums it up. And I think, you know, I think that's something we can all agree with. Like, there are times where you probably will make a video that will feel like more hassle than it's worth. I'm not sure about either of you guys, but I'm the type of person as well. I work best when I'm stressed. Like when I've got that pressure, when I want to do something well, I work even better for myself personally. When there's no pressure, there's no expectations, I do slack off a bit. So that's why, like, just being true to yourself. Like us three have got completely different personalities from one another. But at the same time, I said this from the beginning. I was like, I'm not going to try and be anyone else because I'm never going to be a better Comic Bound or better BJ Kicks than Comic Bound or BJ Kicks.
That's true.
Facts. So be yourself, and wherever that lands, just be comfortable with it. Like, just make the best damn video you can fucking make.
Yeah. I could never make Whale Watch.
To be fair, I can barely do it. So
exactly.
Like, shout out to you. I couldn't make Whale Watch. When Omar does his reading orders, and he's just going on and on about like, and this is when this happened. I'm like, when did you have time to read all these books? Like, how do you know everything about everything all the time? I couldn't do it. Even like Jim Mint, when Jim Mint does his weekly comic book reviews, they literally come out Wednesday morning, and it's like, you read all of these books. And there's another dude, Pop Culture Philosophers, his come out like 6 a.m. on Wednesday, so he must have read it like the night before. But it seems like he reads every book that comes out. To be able to read that, process the information well enough to even have an opinion on it that quickly, I can't do that. Like, I gotta sit with stories. Like, but my point is, I could name 7 channels and they have 7 different vibes, and they're all amazing. So,
because as well, I'm not sure if it was the same for you guys, but I remember even as I was already in sort of the flow of it, like when yourselves debuted on the scene, like when I started coming into it, I was like, you know what, I'm never going to be able to get all the statues or omnibuses like Jem, and I'm never going to be as knowledgeable as Omar. And, you know, even when yourself came on, like, I'm never going to be as chill and as cool as you. I'm always going to be sort of the weirdo with bad hair. But you kind of have to, for better or worse, either create a damn good character so that you can, you know, always stay in that character, or just be real. Like, there's always a little bit of a disparity between on camera and off camera, because you are talking to a camera, so it is a little bit different. Even how I am in these streams isn't how I am in my video. It's still the same general outline, but you just have to, like, I think that's why yourselves, like, Adam, you've recently celebrated a milestone as well, and I think none of that would have happened if we didn't just be ourselves, be true to who we. Oh god, I sound like I'm quoting that shit song.
Yeah.
But that's where I was sort of going with it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing, because if you create a character, you have to be that character. Right. I mean, obviously Marcus and the Maddogg are 2 different people, right? And BJ Kicks is a little bit different from Brandon, but I try to, and maybe because I have another channel, and I've made like almost 200 videos on that channel before I ever started this one, it's a little bit easier for me to be myself on camera. What I love about this channel is I'm not teaching anyone anything necessarily. Like, it's just me saying, oh, I picked up this book. This book is great. Way of X #2. And oh, I love that Cyclops. I love the way this anatomy is. Like, it's just like, what? Like, it's me being a nerd, but I'm a nerd in real life, so it's fun. Joe Corallo says he loves Robbie. Rockin' Robbie Billups is dope. Like, I wish I could read that many books. Also, Joe, like, I've heard your name so many times. I know you're a comic writer. Can you tell me, like, what I should pick up by you so that I can read it and review it on the channel?
I'm hoping to get him on a future MDC as well, because like, he's always been a support of the channel. And I can't remember which one. It was the one that came out recently. The light's just so bright on me at the minute, but he's a really good dude as well.
Nice. But yeah, I just like being fun. Like, there's a lot of people making comic book videos that are like, I'm like, do you like comic books? Like, the way they talk about them is like, it feels like they read the books just to critique them and be angry about them. And I'm like, dude, like, you could have so much more fun if you just like went outside and flew a kite or something. Like, just like, I don't know, like, go somewhere and smile. So I'm definitely not trying to be that.
Sometimes with my reviews, though, I do know that I can be a little bit critical, but I always at least try to find something that I enjoyed about it. That's why I've split it into the sections, because, you know, it's very rarely that I will go, the art is bad. I love art. I love comic art. So even if, like with Ex Machina, it got like the lowest rating of a book that I've read so far at 50%, which because at the same time, I'd rather at least say how I genuinely felt about it.
Yeah.
But I'll still try and find as many good points as I can about the series.
Yeah. What I'm finding is the more I read, and I said this one time and it made me sound smart, so I keep saying it. But like with cooking, I feel like there's no such thing as bad food. It's just like people place the ingredients the wrong way. Like, I hate olives on my subs, but like an olive in a salad can be like the most amazing part of that salad.
Yeah.
So I think it's the same way with comics. Like, there might be individual pieces that just don't go well together, but I don't think there's anything that's just straight up bad, except All-Star Batman and Robin the Boy Wonder. But, well, even with that, the art is amazing, though. Like, I can't even throw that one away.
I'm doing a video called "What the Fuck Happened to All-Star Batman and Robin?" Like, what the fuck happened with this book?
Oh,
but I'm like, you know what? If I'm gonna have to revisit this, I want Jim Lee's artwork in absolute sort of fucking.
Yeah.
It's so weird that you mentioned the exact book that got delivered this morning.
I mean, it is that book has some of the most amazing art. Like, every page is a joy to look at, and every page is also like, what am I reading? Why am I still reading this? Who would talk? Why does Batman talk like this? Why is Batman a madman? Like, it's so hilarious.
Why did it take 10 years to get 10 issues of this series?
Right. Why does every collection only have 1 through 9? Like, all these questions.
It's just Frank Miller. I'd love to do a top 5 notable works on Frank Miller, and I could probably just call it the rise and fall of Frank Miller. I think that would be really fun to investigate into, like I've been saying I'm going to do it for Brian Michael Bendis. That'd be a fascinating video for me to research into. For fuck's sake, now I'm going to have to add that to my list. Like, I really want to make that video now.
I'd watch that.
I'd watch that.
Yeah.
That sounds like a whole documentary that I need to see.
Well, I've got an idea for video. I know I've ran this by Comic Bound, but I was going to do Alan Moore versus comic companies and just do a history of every time he's full. Like, not to paint him as like the bad guy in it, but literally just go, here are the facts. You know, and I side with him on this, or I don't side with him on that, but add them all up in one video.
Alan Moore has to be like by far the most accomplished man in comics. I hate that comics I hate that it did what it did to him, whether you agree with him or not. Like, I hate that someone who has such an amazing body of work, who's accomplished so much, has that type of relationship with the work that he's done. Like, when I'm done making YouTube videos, however many, like when YouTube finally like blows up and nobody cares about it anymore, at least I can say, hey, I got 1,000 videos that I love and I can go back and revisit it. I would hate to look back and be like, I hate all of this. I hate that I did this. I hate the way I got treated when I was doing this. I don't ever want to revisit this. Like,
yeah,
it's
like,
such
don't even put my name on the film of it. That's
yeah. Who's BJ Kicks? Don't put my name on that. Just have it there somewhere.
That's definitely gonna have to go on the list then.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna wrap this up in the next 5 minutes, just obviously with yourself having your Google Hangout in a few hours. And obviously we want a bit of an after chat as well. So I'll probably wrap this up in the next 5 or so minutes. But what's everybody reading at the minute? I think that's one of the questions we'll end on. What are you reading, Adam?
So I'll jump in and just say, because I can see Chris from Off My Shelves hassling me in the chat about Astonishing X-Men. I'm reading it. I'm reading it right now. I'm reading Astonishing X-Men. Me and Chris are going to do a video of that at some point with us discussing it, because I believe he's just read it again. Well, he's read it for the first time. I'll be reading it for, I don't know, maybe like the third time. And yeah, we want to get together, have a bit of a hangout and a bit of a chat about that. So I'm reading that at the minute. I'm reading Loki by Kieran Gillen, and I'm reading reading, it's right here. AD After Death, Scott Snyder and Jeff Lemire.
I didn't know
Bit of
where
a
to
weird
pick that
one.
up.
It's very weird because it's half of it's like prose, maybe even more than half of it is like prose, and I don't really read prose ever, but it's keeping my attention, so it's not doing bad. So it's an interesting one. I like the subject matter. So it's about what happens if you like a company kind of cures death almost. It's interesting. So that's kind of what I'm reading at the minute.
How about yourself, BJ? I know you read a lot of single issues as well.
Yeah, I do read a lot of single issues. So at any point, you can check out my What I'm Getting videos. They come out every Sunday. So you'll see like what single issues I'm reading and why I like them. I think right now my favorite series are, I love Nightwing right now. I just got current on the Flash, this new Flash. There's like 3 issues so far we're in. But I love that. So yeah, but it's Nightwing, obviously Batman, although I think Detective might be slightly better than Batman right now. Mariko Tamaki is just doing great work. But then I'm really been reading a lot of indie titles. So Image has a series called Radiant Black that's out right now.
Yeah, by Kyle Higgins.
Yeah, and it's basically like this dude.
Book.
It's like this dude like finds like a Power Ranger suit basically. and like
makes sense.
Right, exactly. But it's like this dude finds like a Power Ranger suit, but the dude is a failed writer. Like he moves in with his parents because his writing career sucks, and he just stumbles on this suit, and now he's like a superhero, but he's like kind of battling it out to figure out like who he's gonna be. Apparently there's a twist in issue 4, but I haven't read it yet. It just came out this week. But yeah, I love Radiant Black. I love anything by Tom Taylor. 7 Secrets is amazing. And Tom Taylor also is writing Nightwing right now.
Yeah.
So I love that. And as far as omnis, because I try to at least read 1 omnibus a month. That kind of went to crap in the last 2 months since my baby was born. But right now I'm reading Captain America by Brubaker Volume 1. I just finished 10 of Swords the other day. 10 of Swords was good. I just felt like it didn't need to interrupt the books that I was reading for as long as it did. But yeah, Cat by Brubaker, I'm 10 issues in, and it's amazing so far.
Yeah.
Like it's so good that I pre-ordered all the rest of them that are coming out already.
Yeah, Chris from Off My Shelves has commented he's actually reading that as well right now.
And Phil.
And Phil. Okay.
And I'm reading it because I wanted to do a review in June and just call it Brune. Like, that's literally the only reason I want. And that was like the first omnibus I ever brought, and I had to get a new copy because mine was falling apart. So it'd be good if we could get together and talk after we both read that as well and see what we.
I feel like I need to read it as well now. I've got it.
Everybody needs to read that one as well.
I mean, the way it starts is so good that I was literally like, okay, what else did Brubaker write? And that's how I ended up with the Criminal set.
Yeah.
Like it's just great. So hopefully everything he wrote is that good, because I ended up buying like almost everything. So
I've never read something from Brubaker that I didn't like so far. That's yeah. I mean, I've not read everything he's done, but I've read a good chunk of Criminal. I've read some of his other little other indie titles, or not big too, and yeah, never read anything I didn't like. So it's all good.
Criminal is fantastic.
I'll probably do my Brubaker-thon next year. This year, I want to read all of the X-Men that comes out. So I bought from Uncanny Volume 1 all the way to Jim Lee Volume 2 is what I have right now. But Fall of the Mutants is, no, not Fall of the Mutants. Mutant Massacre's coming out. Yeah. Inferno's out. I got all of that. So that's what I'm going to read before December is over, is all of that. And then next year, I'll probably do, I'm going to read Gotham Central, definitely. And then I'll probably read Criminal. And then I'll probably finish out the Captain America run.
That sounds like really good year of reading. I'm not going to lie.
I'm actually reading Gotham Central at the minute as well. It's really good. Like even going in with the hype, it's still good. So yeah, I really like it.
Nice.
I'm going to have to go back now and edit this video and edit the bit where I said, oh, I'm going to read All-Star Batman and Robin for a video because I really don't want to read that now that we've just spent like the last 5 minutes talking about all these great Brubaker books. I'm like, please don't make me read that.
So, but the thing is, like, you have to read bad stuff every now and again. It puts things into perspective. Like, and this is the best thing about, so I read along with the Nerd Herd every week. They're a great comic book channel. They read every week a new different book. And you know, it's a range of things. There's 4 guys, they each pick a book every week, and then every 5th one there's like a viewer choice, so you get an absolute range. And in the last 3 weeks, I think there's been 2 books I've read that I absolutely hated. One was Doctor Strange, Strange Origin. Terrible book. Don't read it. Well, maybe read it because it puts things into perspective. That's what I'm saying. So like there's that, and then the last one was 2018 version, so this is like the rebooted Witchblade volume 1. Some of the worst comics I've ever read, but I'm so glad I read them because it makes every other good comic you've ever read even better, because you're like, wow, you can't just throw together some art and some writing and here's a great comic. Like so much love and craft and luck as well goes into a good comic that I think that's what you miss out on if you just read the good stuff all the time. You don't have that kind of perspective on, like, you take it for granted almost if you just read the classics and the top tier stuff. So I'd say, there's a place for bad comics, and that's to put it into perspective. I think it's important.
So Bareth is asking Gotham Central, Omni or the Eagle Moss hardcovers?
The Omnibus is out of print at the minute, but I imagine they'll probably reprint it at some point. But it's actually a really beautiful book. Like the binding on it is the best binding of any DC book I've got. It's incredibly bound. Like the eye on it, like it's so flexible. The spine, it's beautiful.
It's serious. It really is a great. It's a great build on that book. But I mean, from what I hear, get it in whatever format you can get it in because it's a great story. Like, I mean, I always go Omni because they're oversized, but to have it in hardcover at all, it's probably great. Like,
I'll agree with that, definitely.
I had to get the 4. Well, I had the 4 standard sized hardcovers that came out in like 2010, and even they are out of print now. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just grateful to have the series. I wanted the Omni for a bit, but I just about missed out on it because I couldn't justify it in my head. Whereas now I'm like, if it gets reprinted, I'll definitely buy it. But like you said, just to have it is the true sort of victory. Because if the Omnibus gets reprinted, there's no stopping you buying it if you have it in a different format anyway. We've all double dipped way more than once. So
triple dipped, you know.
Go ahead.
Oh no, it's all right. Go for it.
I was just gonna say, I mean, like the Ultimate Spider-Man, I bought the Omnibus from someone, and I'm gonna buy it again because it's reprinted and it's like 10 years later. So double dipping, it's fine.
I am gonna wrap this up here just so that we can have a bit of an after chat as well. I've had a great time on this one. I can't speak for you guys. I'm hoping you guys have as well.
This is terrible. This is 2.5 hours I can never get back. So I'm playing. I loved it. This is
I was going to say, I was trying to think of a joke. I was like, what if he's not joking? Like, and just make it even worse.
I mean, you're not wrong though. This is 2.5 hours you'll never get back.
True.
Regardless if you enjoy them. Don't make me post lost gifs about Daniel Faraday and time travel at you. That's how it works.
Well, I mean, at least I enjoyed it.
Yeah. I'm glad you had a great time, and I'm glad the best MDC so far.
Wow.
You know? Bahara's had a great time. He's been here from minute 1 as well. I know Steven's still in the chat as well. He's been here from minute 1. I just wanted to thank you both for being here. Adam for being my co-host and, you know, always helping me to get things set up. BJ for joining us. You know, it's just great seeing how your channel's doing, how quick it's growing, and it's exciting to know where it's going to go, you know, over the next couple of years. I'm wishing nothing but, you know, love for your family. I know you're going to, you know, as soon as you bring your baby girl home, everything's going to, you know, be right again with the world. And
yes,
the strength you must fucking have at this point. I can't fucking But like, honestly, if I was in your situation, videos would be the last thing on my mind. So to be still bringing out great content, hats off to you.
I mean, I appreciate it. I tried to stop making videos, and it, like I said, it was like the one thing that I could control, and so here I am still.
Yeah.
And Adam, as well, I know you've recently passed a milestone. We're going to have to get a buddy reads on the card. I had a few suggestions that I'll message you about later, but
yeah, man, up for it. Yeah.
Where can people find you guys? Besides the description of this video, check down below.
Oh, shameless plug. Yeah, I'm everywhere you want to be on social media at BJ Kicks. Instagram is where I'm most active, though. And if you follow me on Instagram, you'll find the link to my channel, to all the charities I support, the one charity I support, and everything else about me. So I'm just at BJ Kicks or youtube.com/BJ Kicks. I am not a metahuman. I can guarantee you that much.
I'm not convinced. But yeah, for me, you can find me on YouTube on Comic Bound. That's my channel. On Instagram, comic_bound. I'm not too active on Instagram. I mostly just plug other people who you might want to know about. So it's just that's the best thing about it, really, is just sharing the love. So follow me on Instagram purely to find out other cool stuff that you should be looking at instead of me. So always appreciate the opportunity to come chat with you guys. Thank you again for having us. So
it's no problem. Like I said, it wouldn't be the MDC if you guys hadn't have joined me. I'm hoping it's not the last MDC that we do together. I'm definitely going to join you for a future hangout. I am working tomorrow, unfortunately, so I can't do the Nerd Herds quiz either, unfortunately. But definitely in the future. And like I said, when we've both finished reading Captain America by Ed Brubaker, the three of us can get together again and talk about it. But yeah, I'll wrap this up here because people can know I can go on for ages. Thank you again to you guys for joining me. Make sure that you check out their links in the description down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. Great content. And yeah, I hope everybody has a great weekend. I hope everybody stays safe, stays reading the best books, and stays mad, all you dogs. Woof, woof. See you at the next live stream.
Woof, woof.
Take care, bye.